Yeah, get you. Boom.
Okay, perfect. So I got audio definitely on my end from you, so we're good in that regard.
Sweet. I just hit go live on mine, so we're a couple
Okay.
minutes early, but we rocking it.
Yeah. As soon as we get a feed on yours, I'm gonna make sure we got audio. I think we ready to go, bro.
Yes.
For the love of sweet Fuji juice, I hope so. We're ready to go, bro. Oh yeah, okay. I got audio on your end too. We're like we're live.
Sweet. Woo! Excited.
I'm excited, dude. This is gonna be good. Like,
Yes.
this is gonna be good.
I still don't fully understand how we're live because you handled all the tech stuff.
Dude, so what's funny is I'm typically not that person, right? So again, like I was telling you earlier, like if you were to go check out, I'm gonna put it down in my comments somewhere just for people to know. My
Yeah.
boy Lover of Tech, right? So he has a YouTube channel and he reviews cell phone footage and not cell phone footage. He reviews cell phone, laptops, like you name it. Hold on one second. I think somebody's on my door real quick. One second.
Amazon's dropping something off. Where is everybody at? Brendan, fitness. What is up, my dude? I don't know where to look. This is different than filming a YouTube
Hey,
video. So I'm looking at the comments over on
it's all
my
good.
my Mac screen here, and then I have my camera here, the A7S III. We're gonna figure this thing out. I haven't streamed in a
All
hot
right.
minute.
I have to let my kiddo in.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, like I was saying though, thanks to him, dude, like the stream key and everything like that. So we're actually streaming through Restream.io,
Mm-hmm.
and with Restream.io, you can put like you can kind of just put like one key in, and like after you put that one key in, as long as I have your channel stream key and my stream key like all gets connected, it
It
just does
works.
the brute force for us.
I'm cool with that.
so, um, so far, like you know what I'm saying. Give me what's going on, y'all. Give me like a sound check to let me know y'all hear me loud and clear on both ends.
Yeah, how's it
Uh,
sound, everybody? In my comments as well. How are things sounding? Ty Morris, what's up? Nate Stelzer, what up?
so Zach,
Wait, Brendan
I'm gonna go ahead
Brendan
and pull my
Fitness.
first shot now, just to kind of have
Yeah,
that
baby.
pre-shot ready.
Yes, sir. What are you drinking this evening?
I am
Adult
drinking
adult
Captain
apple juice?
Morgan.
Okay.
Yes. So just for the so hopefully there are no kids watching,
Right.
right? But you know, Captain Morgan Spice Rum is the apple juice choice of tonight. How about that?
Yes. There you go. That's my girlfriend's favorite drink, by the way.
Oh my, dude, you know what? For me. It doesn't take much. You know, it doesn't take much for the.
Dude, I'm pathetic. I have such a low tolerance after all these years.
Same here, dude. I feel like the
Yeah.
older I got, the lower my tolerance, like, or like something like that, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, when I was younger, I was like, you know, I can hang with the big guys, but now it's like, when I hit 30, it's like, yeah, you about four shots in, and now the
Yeah.
speech is starting to slur a little bit. So,
We're gonna have a good time together. We'll figure it
oh
out.
yeah, for sure.
I got me
Um,
a little bit of bourbon with some amaretto in it. I don't even know what that is, but the guy at the liquor store was like, "You should try this." So I
I'm
was
not gonna
like,
lie, it sounds
"Okay."
fancy though. It
I
does
don't
sound
know, but
fancy.
it tastes good.
It sounds fancy. So we are like right on cue as far as 30-minute mark. So you know, Zach, for those people who don't know about your channel on my end, you
Hmm.
know, introduce yourself a little bit.
Oh, this is the pitch. Hello, I am Zach Mayfield. I'm obsessed with a few things: Parks and Rec, Hillary Duff, the Sony
Look at that.
A7S III, Fuji cameras as well. My title is mostly clickbait, so gotcha. Um, and just having a good time. My whole shtick is making videos about cameras and camera gear, but not taking it too seriously because it's at the end of the day, it's just cameras and it's about having fun with them. That's my thing. So nice to meet all of you from Sean's side.
So he's been a little modest here, guys. This dude here, he's
I don't know
hilarious
about that.
as hell. Oh my.
I have
So
problems. I think is a better way to say it.
you know,
I
dude.
think I have issues.
If you are like seriously somebody who kind of like wanna kind of go to a camera channel and again who doesn't take themselves too serious and kind of just have fun on YouTube, man, like this is kind of why I fell in love with the channel of his. When I went there, it was just like I could just watch this and not feel it. Like I'm not feeling pressure to buy something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're never slamming gear down people's throat where it's like hey, this video is sponsored, like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
appreciate that, man. That's something I really I'm trying to push forward more, especially like after the whole pandemic and everything, and just seeing like people in my life struggle and everything. Like
yeah,
life's a lot more than like what sensor you have, you know?
right, right. So Mac, what up, bro? T, what's going on? Corey, what's going on? Thank y'all for coming through. B, make sure you hit the like button so I can go ahead and get that pushed out.
Okay.
Um,
My boy Winston here says, damn, Sean's camera looks fire. Here's the deal. We have the same camera. We have the same
yes, we
color
do.
profile, but I guess yours looks better. And honestly, it does because you literally, you literally have fire in the background. That makes sense.
So right now we are on the Sony 35mm f1.8 with the black Tiffin Pro Mist joint,
Mm,
and my lighting game. I'm gonna tell you right now, be like, if you all kind of wanted to like know a little bit about lighting, professional lighting, just kind of how like I do professional jobs and things like that. I'll talk about all that on my channel. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to check me out. But this is pretty much like a 3-point lighting system almost, if you will. So I have
yeah.
a digital photo little pocket light right here to enhance the candle flicker back there from the fireplace, right?
Oh, nice.
So
Oh, yeah. I can see it flickering on your walls in the background. Dude,
yeah,
that looks
yeah.
really good.
Hey, I tried, Zach. Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Tis working. Tis working.
Thank you. So, and again, having this big old Godox, this is the VL200 shining right here on my right side, pop out from the background.
Dude, yeah, it looks great.
Thank you. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get straight to it, Zach. So, just like me, right? I started off on the GH5.
Yes, sir.
So let's start here, right? To be honest, the GH5 can still bang with a lot of cameras that came out this year.
Absolutely. Dude, that's what's so cool is like it still punches so far ahead of its weight class in terms of 2020 and 2021 cameras. I kind of miss it sometimes.
Dude,
it was the
me too.
autofocus. When I transitioned into doing a lot more YouTube stuff, autofocus, obviously the A7S III is like amazing at that. So that's pretty essential for me now, but GH5 was quite the ride.
And what's crazy is I was one of those Micro Four Third users, like, oh no, like the depth of field thing doesn't matter to me. I can just use manual focus when I need it. I had every GH5 autofocus trick in the book, as far as locking autofocus. Like I had that camera nailed down to a T.
Yeah,
and
man.
Once I, start to kind of use it more and more, and then the jobs I start to kind of get, it starts to like limit my creativity. And what I mean by that is like, for example, there are certain shots that I cannot get on the GH5 that I can get on my A7S III.
Like low light shots.
Low light is for sure one of them, right? How
Dude,
about
this camera? The sensor is so clean, dude. It's insane.
What's funny is though, when people talk about the low light of the A7S III, they only kind of go towards like S-Log. They never consider any other of the 11 profiles that the A7S III does very well in a low light. They always say, well, you get a 12,800 or 640. Those are the two ISOs you stick with. But honestly, in S Cinetone, I just shot a engagement video, and we were like an ISO 32,000, looking clean.
Really?
Clean.
Holy crap, dude, that's
a
awesome.
A lot of information in the shadows we were able to lift, put back in. Like the A7S III, if you are shooting S-Log 3, and I would not recommend that you shoot that in low light, right? Because it makes more sense for you to shoot a baked in profile like S Cinetone. So that's what we do. So for like reception shots now, we've already said like, all right, S Cinetone is the new wave, and then for any shots where we need dynamic range, S-Log 3 would be the thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And again, going back to the GH5, like my go-to ISO, my limit was ISO 3200, and that's because I use DaVinci Resolve's noise reduction.
Oh yeah, that's probably pushing it, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Now with Neat Video, maybe not so much, because Neat Video cleans up things like I've never seen before. But the GH5, man, definitely had its limitation when it came to low light. I'm not gonna sit there and lie like it didn't. And again, as far as the creative shots I was telling you about, like if you were trying to get like a push-in shot or a parallax shot, or just anything where autofocus or tracking autofocus was needed, you might as well forget, especially if you didn't have like a focus. Forget about it.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, like the way it handled, I love the fact that, honestly, to be real, the GH5 shoots a higher all-eye codec than an A7S III.
Yeah, it does. It looks great too.
looks magnificent. But I think the reason why the A7S III still looks good again is because of that depth of field. Like you can't escape that full frame depth of field, dude. Like
I know. It's like I remember owning the GH5. I was like such a fanboy, and that camera is genuinely amazing even today, like you said.
right.
But like now that I've moved on towards the A7S III, I feel like this is my first true successor to the GH5, where it's like it's so good at everything, dude. This is so nerdy, but it's so true.
But it's the
Like,
truth.
it's so good.
It's the truth.
I'm a simp, dude. That's the whole reason behind my Sony simp merch is like I'm just giving in. I'm not afraid to say it. Like I was a Micro Four Thirds fan, boy, but now I'm a Sony simp all the way. I want the 1.8. I want the depth of field. I'll take it.
Listen. I'm okay with that too. That the first thing about being a Sony simp is first to realize, like, you know, you have to accept that about yourself.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like,
You got to
for
admit
me-
that you have an addiction first.
You know, so for me, right, to be real, the A7S III is what I wanted the GH6 to be, right?
Yeah.
Phase detect autofocus. And honestly, man, to be real, if the GH6 would have came out with like generation 1 phase detect, I would more than likely say I have the GH5.
Yeah.
To be completely honest,
Mhm.
because to be real, even when I switched over to the XT4 still like it had me missing a lot of features from the GH5. One of them being unlimited recording, and the second one being no overheating issues at all. Like I consistently got overheating issues on
That's
my
so
XT4.
okay. Can we talk about this for a second? Because
Yes.
I want to catch up with chat in a little bit. I see all of you people. I love all you people. I'll catch up with you in a second. But going from the GH5 to the XT4 is so interesting. We've had this like similar camera journey, like going
Right.
from the GH5, XT4, A7S III. So specifically with the XT4's overheating problems, I want to land on that for a second because in my Q&A videos that I do once in a while, I've learned from so many of my friends here that like some people with XT4s have no overheating problems. Like this dude from Texas that I talked to that shoots weddings has never had his XT4 overheat. I've had mine overheat in this room with AC on, shooting 4K 60 just product B-roll.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, my theory is that maybe there's a quality control issue, but I don't know, man. I've even looked at Fuji interviews with like the CEOs and stuff, and they say like quality control is a huge thing there, but I mean, it's an interview. Who knows what the truth is? Do you have any theories?
So, I mean, I'm gonna say like that's just like a one-off, right? So your guy that shoots the weddings in Texas, right? To me, that's just like a one-off, right? Where his camera's not overheating, because anyone else, like, heck, I just shot a wedding, literally maybe last month with a guy who owned an XT4, and then as we're shooting, he's getting an overheating signal, and we are in a temperature-controlled room, right? So we were saying,
Weird.
you know, we're like around 70 degrees or so, you know what I mean? Whatever the standard average temp room temp is, and he started to overheat. Now, the thing when I noticed when shooting with the XT4, like, if you were to shoot a full 30 minutes of 4K 24, right? Just like straight through for that 30-minute time limit, and then you try to switch over to shoot like 4K 60, like, it's almost guaranteed within that first 5 to 10 minutes, the overheating setting is gonna pop up.
Okay.
It was almost like I had it down to a T. And even when I shot a wedding before with I was shooting with this camera in 1080p 60 frames per second. Now, granted, it was hot that day, but still, at 1080p 60, I was not expecting to get an overheating signal. And it was hot, but you know, 1080 is like almost
Come
like,
on, 1080. Cool off, Fuji. Cool off.
you know. So for me, I think that your friend just got lucky. In regards to his XT4 not overheating, but the XT4 definitely has an overheating issue. And it's, you can't deny physics, man. Like, if you look at the body, all of that packed into that small body, you know what I'm saying, that small frame, you cannot escape that it just has terrible or poor heat dissipation.
Yeah.
And
It does. It's so tiny. It's cool that they packed so many features into that size of a body, but I wish they would have just made the thing a little chunkier, like the Panasonic S1H or something. Just embrace the bigger size, put a fan on it, put a better IBIS system in it, because that was the biggest drawback for me, was the IBIS. Like, I could actually work with the autofocus decently, but the IBIS for me was just, I don't know, I didn't like it at all.
I'm with you on that, right? So what's funny, and this is kind of why I don't want to do reviews anymore. I don't want the A7S III is what I wish the XT4 was. Yes.
Amen. It's just so much more expensive, but it's like, if you need something so reliable, it's like, it's worth it.
To be honest, that was even okay. The IBIS was very spotty on the XT4. I'm not gonna lie, but to be real, if they would have got rid of the recording limit on the XT4, I more than likely would have stuck with that system because I love
Oh,
the colors.
yeah, it's gorgeous. So pretty.
Loved them.
It's
Loved everything about it.
especially for how freaking inexpensive that camera is.
Dude, if you think about it,
Crazy.
right, for
You can get two of them for one A7S3.
$1,700, you are getting a
Mm-hmm.
camera that shoots 10-bit internal, right?
Yep.
Which looks phenomenal. Now, somebody could argue, well, the A7S3 shoots 422. Okay, yeah. But in 420, it's still 10-bit and it still looks good. Whatever color manipulation you're trying to do, you can still do with no problem. If they would just kind of got rid of the overheat limit, and to be honest, I didn't need it in all modes. If they would have gave me unlimited recording in 4K 24 just for interviews, that was the biggest thing for me. I do long recordings.
Yeah.
I need to have, I have to have unlimited recording. You know what I'm saying? Especially coming from the GH5.
Yeah, it's cool to get your perspective on all these cameras because you're doing a lot of long form stuff, and I've transitioned from doing a lot of that stuff into a lot of burst shooting for primarily just YouTube for me now. So I feel like we have this like beautiful ebb and flow together.
Yeah,
where we can just
I'm with
figure this out together. It's great.
Real quick, shout out to Lover of Tech. He's over here. Appreciate you, sir, because without you, I could have not made this happen. So thank you, good sir.
Oh, is he the guy who helped us out?
Yes, he's the guy that helped us out.
Thank you, brother. I am an idiot with this stuff. You saved my life. Can I catch up on a few people really quick here?
Of course, of course.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's go way back. Google user. Good evening. Oh, this is great. I haven't live streamed in so long. This is so fun. Winston, what's up? Juan Carlos G, what's up? Here to see all the simping that the A7S3 deserves. Absolutely.
Yes.
217, my boy. Jordan, what's up, son? Josh Hart, we got to zone out sometime, G. I'm really bad at Warzone now, but I will play with you for sure. Do you play any video games, dude?
Oh my God. So I used to be a huge game head, bro, but ever since I've become like a business owner, I can't sit down anymore. Like
There's no time.
There's no time. There's no time.
That's hilarious.
Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and take this shot. To use that, I'm going to start off the first one.
Bro, let's do this.
Let's do this. All right, here we go. Make sure I got you in the right cam for this one here so we can do this. All right, here we go.
Imagine if we had to take a shot every time we said Sony or Fuji. We would pass away. We'd be in another life.
Let's not start it now, but I'm down for that.
Oh my gosh. Guys, this will be my final upload. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for showing up. Mr. Camera Junkie, what's up, dude? Nate Stelzer, my boy. There's so many good boys here. Oh, Josh says he has to go to school. Dude, I'm sorry you have to go to school.
I'm so sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, dude. But do a good job. Work harder than I did. Bless you. Lover of Tech, dude, what's up? He's in my chat.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
that's my boy there, man.
And Albie Do says, is Fuji XS10 worse for overheating? Have you used that camera at all, Sean?
I have not, dude. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I have not looked at another camera since I grabbed my A7S3. Like, there's nothing else I even want to look at. Now, if Fuji ever wanted to send me one for review, hey, sure, knock yourself out. But
yeah,
for what I do, I cannot consider cameras like that.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest,
it's a pretty cool option if you like Fuji cameras and you're like on a strict budget.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, once again, when I tested that camera, I rented it for a week and I could not get that thing to record for over a minute.
Yeah, I saw that in your review video,
So
man. Like,
weird.
you was having some issues with that.
Yeah, and I have a really fast SD card that I can record all the modes with the A7S3 and stuff. Yeah, it was just weird. So maybe that kind of goes into our theory of quality control with Fuji or something. I have no idea. It was very strange, very frustrating.
See,
But-
and that's a problem, right? Because to be honest, if we look at other options, you know, I would almost say a G85 could bang with an S10.
Yes, that's so reliable.
You know what I mean? Like, besides the autofocus being very, you know, terrible.
Right. Can't be
Worse.
that much worse than Fuji though, honestly, because their lenses are so slow. They need to update their video lenses.
And see, that's funny. A lot of people kept telling me they was having issues with Fuji's autofocus, but for me, the first lens I had with Fuji was the best lens for the autofocus, which was their 16 to 55. So that lens was phenomenal for autofocus, but you have to keep them in the box, and that was another huge issue for me with Fuji. Their autofocus settings was so limited. It's like I
Yeah.
can't. I touch the focus. You know what I mean? Like that should not
Yeah.
be. That should
Yeah.
be mandatory at this point. You know
Just
what I mean?
do it all for me. That's all I need.
You know what I
Just
mean?
work. Just work for me.
And to me, the A7S III almost makes you like a lazy shooter because you can, dude. I don't know what's in this camera, but there's like some mini little magicians in here because it knows what to focus on when
Yeah, it
you
does.
want it to focus there. I've
Yeah,
never
dude.
seen
There's a
camera
little
do
box
that.
around my eye this entire time, dude.
And it's stuck to you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's,
the whole time.
it's a beautiful thing, dude.
It's there.
It is a beautiful thing.
It's
Beautiful
wild, dude.
thing. So question.
Mm-hmm.
So we already know the A7S III is like the holy grail, right? To be honest, to be honest, I remember I was talking about this camera last year. The A7S III, I said, and I made a video about this too. I was like, for me to leave Panasonic, I don't even need the A7S III to have 4K 120. If it gives me 4K 90, that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gives me a flippy screen, that's fine. Gives
Yep.
me 422 internal recording, that's fine. And it gave me everything in that, you know what I'm saying, and some, right? So we already know the A7S III is like the holy grail. What's your thoughts between the GH5 and the X-T4? Like, with what you know now, would you still pick the X-T4 over the GH5, or would you kind of keep the GH5?
Oh, damn. Wow. Why do you do this to me? Oh, man. Okay. Well, in terms of client work, I would say it depends on what specific work you do. If you can do stuff where you shoot in bursts and you don't need IBIS, I would still pick the X-T4 because I guess my particular camera, I've only had it overheat 3 times total. And just the image quality, the better low light performance, the colors, like that's the stuff I value more in the work that I was doing before YouTube stuff. But if you need like a run and gun, like monster of a camera that will, like, you could just throw it at a wall or a mud pit and pick it up and keep using it, that's the GH5.
Dude, I've dropped that camera off a tripod before. Like, don't ask me how.
Yeah, dude, I've done some bad things to GH5s that I can't say online.
GH5, right? I remember one time, dude, I left my GH5 with my Sigma 18-35 on a monopod. And I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. So I walk away from it, and
No, Sean. No.
so it hits the ground.
Don't tell me this.
So you hear it, you hear the crowd. So now it's okay. So it's all right. She's good. She's good.
Was it at a wedding?
No, it was actually at like what was I doing? Like just a corporate event. It's a corporate event recording.
Okay.
But I do have a funny, embarrassing story about a wedding. I'm gonna get.
I was gonna say, it's like you may kiss the bride, and the GH5 is like
No.
Everyone turns and looks at it.
What's funny is that WeWillS did that to me, so we're gonna talk about that. But the GH5 was built like a tank. Now, before I forget, I do want to touch on that embarrassing story. So I actually had to sell my WeWillS because of what happened to me at a wedding. So I was using the Sony A7S III with a Sigma 24-70. Now, I don't know if you've had a chance to use that lens yet, Zach, but this lens is like, you have to have the strength from all the gods, including mythology, to make it. With the A7S III, it's really heavy. I'm not gonna lie to you, like so much so I'm actually considering selling my 24-70 with my Sony 35mm to get a 17-28 and a 28-75 Tamron. Like,
yes, dude, the Tamron lenses are sweet.
They're really good, and they're really light. So I'm using a WeWillS. They're telling their valves and everything like that. Next thing you know, all I hear is do.
No.
4 times during the wedding, and then literally, I guess because it's too front heavy.
Yeah.
And so I was maybe zoomed into like. Now I'm not gonna lie. As far as front heavy, I was zoomed to 70mm, and I had a Tiffany Miss Pro filter on it, right? But at the same token, now that I have the RSC2, it doesn't do that. Like, to be honest, the RSC2 is a really good gimbal.
Bro, it's so good.
It's really
my favorite
good gimbal. Like, it moves how you want it to move.
I'm about to sell my Weeble S2, actually.
Yeah, I sold mine. I sold mine with the quickness. The moment I got the RSC2, I sold it. I'm like, okay, you can go.
We have a quick comment here from my buddy Jordan. He says, "Okay, hold up, I have an opinion."
Okay.
Dude, I honestly think the X-T4 has way better stabilization than the A7S III. This sounds like a fight's about to brew up. Jordan, I love you.
So I disagree. And it could be a cheat, but nonetheless, it's a feature.
Yeah.
Catalyst Browse debunks that argument.
Oh yeah, I actually haven't tried Callus Brows. I've watched a couple
Oh,
videos on it. It's
oh,
amazing.
Zach.
I mean, I don't know if it's just the lens I'm using, but I feel like my 20 mil 1.8 G lens with active IBIS. I always use active, by the way, and it does crop in on the sensor a little bit,
But it's worth it.
it's so good. Like it's so, I don't know, but also I'm an idiot and I never used any native lenses on my X-T4. So I don't know what it's like to use native X mount glass on the X-T4. Maybe that is a lot better because I was using Sigma lenses and Tokina lenses on my X-T4.
So you never had the chance to use like the 16 to 55 at all?
No, I never tried that. I used the Fuji 23 mil 1.7 because my girlfriend has that lens for X-T3. But I mean, for video, it wasn't something I was interested in. I actually like bigger lenses on smaller cameras so that there's a little bit of weight to it.
I would almost encourage you, to be honest. So I don't like to use any other mounts on my system other than like native mounts, right? And that's mainly because in the GH5 you couldn't use autofocus continuous with the Sigma to 1835, Metabone speed booster combo. Real quick, funny enough, the GH5, Lover texted the GH5S camera I'll be using for my day job. I mean, the GH5S, it's a dope camera too. Like
it's a day job camera.
Issue, you know what
Reliable.
I mean? But in regards to what were you talking about just now, bro? Totally lost my thought.
Oh, you're good. Really quick, I want to say hello to my friend Christian, who lives in Nashville, and I play Halo with him all the time. Hi, Christian. I love you so much, and I'll play Halo.
You're an Xbox
later.
player. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, so I've thought about going to PC, but I have this iMac, and I don't want to sell everything. And
so you're not a PlayStation fan at all?
Oh no, I actually love PlayStation.
Okay.
Like, dude, the Spider-Man games from Insomniac.
Yes.
That reason alone, I would get a PlayStation, and I would probably play the Last of Us games too, but.
Not probably. Let's go ahead and backtrack that real quick. Like that's a must. The Last of Us is a must.
You got me there. Okay.
Uncharted is a must.
Oh yeah, I have played the first couple of those.
Is a must. Like
you're right. PlayStation's got the exclusives down.
You know what I mean? We have so many. But to kind of go back to what your boy was saying as far as the X-T4 having better IBIS than the A7S3. See, here's the thing. Like if I have my RSC2 and I turn off IBIS on my A7S3, imagine using an RSC2 and Callus Brows on top of that. It almost looks like you're using like a slider. The X-T4 had this thing where it would kind of like shift or try to catch up with the footage. And it used to drive me crazy because it's not something like you can notice that. It wasn't something like, maybe something like, no, it was like, hey, why is my screen moving? Like it's pretty obvious.
That happened with my Sigma lenses as well. It was just like, it was tuned too high, where it was like, hey, we're trying really hard to have good IBIS. Let's go over here and over here.
That's how I felt. I felt like the X-T4 was trying too hard. But to me, the A7S3, even with active stable on, I'm good. To be honest, like you know,
I'm cool with it. It's not perfect, but it's really good for me.
Exactly. And for what I do, like I've actually in my latest video, I actually went handheld with active stable. And put some warp stabilizer on it. Well, in DaVinci's, it's like translation or whatever perspective, whatever you call it. But it was good enough to use professionally. I can't say the same. Like the X-T4, I don't feel comfortable using.
Dude, we're getting slammed in the chat for this, dude.
Really? What are you saying?
Someone said, Zach, you're really ugly because you like A7S3. No, I'm just kidding. Jordan responded. He said, I have experience using both in a music video setting, and the boost IBIS on the X-T4 feels smooth, and the A7S3 feels more subtle, like a slight micro shake stabilization. That's interesting.
Okay.
I mean, I'm glad you're having a good experience. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, same here, right? And also, I would ask, are you looking at this on a actual monitor, or are you looking at it on the X-T4 screen? Because I asked that because I noticed on the X-T4 screen, it's harder to notice how bad that shift is.
Until you put it in the computer.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's, again, if it works for you, like, dope. But for what I was doing, like a lot of my professional shoots, man, it used to kind of irritate me. And I remember I was recording a cooking show, right? Now, my friend he's on a Weeble Less, but again, we, just to kind of boost that IBIS, we had IBIS boost on, which is probably the issue here. And it just kept shifting, right? There were some clips I couldn't use because it almost looked like Fuji was like, oh, hey, we didn't mean to be over here. And they just slide it. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. What if this goes back to the quality control thing? Like maybe me and you.
Wow. You may be onto something.
maybe these people in the chat have XT4s with good IBIS and we have ones with bad outs.
You know,
Or
again,
we're both idiots.
You know,
There's an option.
I believe.
Could be that. I don't know.
I'm finding it hard to believe due to the fact that, again, I just shot a wedding with somebody and I'm looking at their footage. I'm like, "Did you have IBIS on?" He's like, "Yeah." How did you know? I'm like, "Oh, I see you shifting everywhere. That's all." Like, that's all.
Just a quick low key slam.
I see you moving everywhere. That's all. And now he's selling his XT4 and getting the Blackmagic 6K Pro. So,
Bro, oh man, that camera.
Now
I have a video coming out on Friday mentioning that camera. It looks so sick.
if we had to be honest, that depending on your line of work, I would argue that the 6K Pro is a better buy than the A7S III.
Dude, can I just spoil my entire video that comes out on Friday?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is just a little treat for anyone in the chat. So I have this Canon C70 review coming out on Friday on Kinotika. I spent hours on it, so many hours. And then I happened to look at the 6K Pro specs. So I had to like update my script for the C70 review and basically be like, why would you buy the C70 when the 6K Pro exists? Like, it's literally, is it less than half the cost?
Dude,
With
like,
way better resolution?
and way better internal codecs, right? B-RAW shuts, like, to be honest, right? People talk about ProRes RAW on A7S III, but the ProRes RAW on the A7S III is very, very limited. Very, very limited in comparison to something like B-RAW. So, again, if you are a DP or indie shooter and you don't really need autofocus,
6K Pro.
I would easily argue that you
So
get the 6K
good.
Pro.
It looks so good. They finally added bigger batteries finally too, which
the
so
touchscreen is amazing. It flips out now. Like, come on, dude. The 6K Pro is I would easily get that camera over an A7S III.
I'll vlog it. I'll freaking vlog with it. Watch me. I'll do it.
Okay, listen. If you're that brave and that strong, knock yourself out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a giant right forearm for only holding cameras and no other reasons.
Right. They're gonna be like, why is your right arm the only thing that's strong than you, Zach?
Yeah. What's happening? What is he holding?
you naughty boy.
I'm seeing a couple hot boys in the chat talking about the A7C. One of them's wondering what we're thinking, and the other one's saying, "Hey, it's great." Have you tried it at all?
No. But what's funny is I want the A7C to replace my A6600.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to, because I like, to be honest, I hate to be that guy, but I'm a full frame snob now. Like,
go for it, dude. Embrace it, dude. Be a simp. Own it. Just own it, man.
The full frame look for me is like the A7S III has spoiled me, man. Like I've never owned a camera, Zach, where like it does everything that I needed to do. It shoots raw, like, which I can argue that raw is almost like gimmicky at this point. But nonetheless, it shoots it, right? If I need that on some professional jobs. The internal codecs that it has is amazing. The autofocus is almost like having an AC puller for you. You know what I mean? Like it's
someone's losing their job over this camera.
You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
Battery life is phenomenal. I've never had an issue with battery life. I can easily get 2.5 to 3 hours out of this camera. And the low light, I mean, this is my first time ever owning a camera where like it literally does every single thing that I want. Like I have no other reasons to look at another camera. But what's funny is I would still catch myself looking at the FX6. So like,
the FX6 does look really cool from the reviews I watched. Also, I'm seeing multiple people are talking about the FX3, which just came out, and that I also mentioned this in my video coming out on Friday, but I'll give my opinions on the FX3 quick, and then I would love to know what you think too. But it just doesn't interest me in the slightest, because like one of my favorite things about the A7S III that nobody really talks about that much is the viewfinder, and it is the best viewfinder I've ever used in my life. It's so huge and it's so high resolution. So if you're shooting photos, which the photos look great on this, you're posting to Instagram. Let's be honest, you don't need any more than 12 megapixels.
Thank you for being honest about that.
And if you're shooting, this is our confession booth, dude. It's time to be open. And shooting outside, like I would use viewfinders a lot when I filmed weddings in the summer, and I wish I would have had this viewfinder because it's so easy to expose with this viewfinder outside. It's really bright. You can jack up the brightness, but Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the FX3? I don't think it's worth it for me at all.
So I wouldn't touch an FX3. So what's funny is I've only used the viewfinder on my A7S III maybe 3 times since I own this camera.
Yeah.
But it is good. Like when I do take an occasional photo to look through it, it's like, oh my God, like it looks,
Yeah, it's
Jesus
sharp.
Christ. Um, but the FX3 to me, so my boy, who I think Lever Tech touched on this, right? Shout out to you, Lever Tech.
Smart man.
He was like, what Sony did was made you want to debate to choose between Sony or Sony and not Sony or Canon, which I think is amazing, right? So like, instead of you sitting here like wondering if I should go to a Canon camera because it has this, you like, man, I wonder if I want an FX3, FX6, a A7S III, a A7C, a A1. Like Sony gave you so many options within the past 6 months. You honestly, Canon's to me is not really in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like to be perfectly honest, like to be real, the C70 is great, but then it's like, well, why would I get a C70 when I get a 6K Pro?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at the 6K Pro, it's like, well, I really don't need, let's just say I really don't need to shoot RAW, and the body's a little bit too big for me. I don't mind spending like a little extra money on the A7S III. Okay, you're like, well, you know what? I kind of need the internal. I need the what do you call it? The XLR inputs. I need the mounting holes in the body. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna check out the FX3. And if I don't want the FX3 and I really need something a little bit more bigger in size, I can get an FX6. And if I really want to be taken seriously in commercial, I can look at the FX9. Now, out of all that entire conversation, not one time that I had to even go back to a Canon camera because Sony cleared the board.
Yeah. What about the old red Komodo? Because I feel like it sits in that C70 FX3 6K Pro world.
Yeah.
And I personally love red cameras, the ones I've worked with. I've only worked with a Gemini and an older 6K Dragon, but I've always had great experiences with them, and just like the dynamic range and the colors.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
and Red Raw, dude.
Yeah, so
Red Raw is like my favorite Kodak.
That's gonna really be dependent on the type of work that you do. Like, for example, so do you, besides YouTube, are you doing or are you even looking for professional work outside of YouTube?
No, not anymore. I finished up all the rest of my professional work this past summer.
Okay.
And since then, I've just been like, grinding on both my channels and surviving.
Okay. So
I don't really need a red.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I would love to have one.
I would recommend
this shot of the C70 with a red. That would be the extent of it.
Because to be honest, man, what I'm noticing is I feel like, don't get me wrong, so first of all, to answer your question, the Red Komodo is a dope camera. Okay, I don't really think you go wrong in either scenario, but to have a global shutter, you know what I mean? It depends on what you need, to be honest. But I think, to be honest, man, whatever camera you kind of buy at this point, it can get the job done. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a single camera.
That's kind of the overarching point in 2021 in my videos is like, this camera is good, just like every other camera.
I mean,
it has a few quirks, it has a few strengths, but pretty much everything. Just like make some good stuff and buy what works for you. Could we do a quick refill sesh?
A refill? Okay.
I need to go get a quick refill. I might just bring the bottle in here.
You might as well just bring it, bro, because I'm ready
chat.
to take
I'll
my
be right
second
back.
shot. Lever said the FX3 is a waste of time. No shutter angle, IBIS instead of ND is a joke, and no proper video assist tools look like tools like waveform. I agree with you, Lever Tech. Like the FX3 to me, again, like you said in your video, make sure you guys check out Lever Tech's video. The FX3 is, again, just one of those things is like, hey, we have nothing else to do but to kind of stun on y'all real quick. So I want to bring out a FX, I want to bring this out so you can know who you're dealing with, type of thing. Like the FX3 to me was to show Sony like the flex their muscle, to be completely honest. Like that's what the FX3 was to me. But I would not in real situations like seriously consider the FX3 over an A7S III at no point in time. The A7S III, like let's just say, now I think the FX3 can take pictures, but again, you're paying more. If we were ready to break down an FX3, right? If we were to really break it down to FX3, you could still turn your A7S III into an FX3, and all you would have to do is buy a cage and an H4n zoom recorder. That's your FX3.
I fully agree, and I don't know what you were saying.
So I was telling Lever Tech that like if you wanted to turn your A7S III into an FX3, buy a small rig cage and buy a Zoom H4n recorder for XLR inputs, and there you go. You have an FX3.
That's true. Josh Bernales. I don't know if I've ever said your name correctly, but I love you and it's good to see you in the chat. Mr. Camera Junkie. Oh my gosh, there's so many good boys here. This is great.
Hey, you got your
Google
homies with you.
user. Somebody's name is Google user, but it's GUGLEYUSER.
Very creative.
Oh my god. Someone says, did anyone test what is sharper, A7S III or Alpha 1 when shooting in 4K?
So
I
funny
kind of
enough,
ignored all the reviews, to be honest.
okay, so funny enough, my homie that I shoot weddings with, he just picked up an A1, so I'll be doing some test footage with that. Shout out to
Nice.
Two-Way Photography. He's a photographer, right? So it made sense when him with the A1. But let's talk about camera sharpness for a minute here, Zach. And you know, let me know what you kind of think about it. But the camera sharpness thing to me is very perspective based. You know what I mean? Because in my
Yeah.
opinion, I could just add sharpening in post.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So a camera being sharper to me, and that's not always necessarily a good thing. You know what I mean? Like in movies, specifically in movies, they kind of shoot or they soften up the actor's skin because you don't want to see like their pores and stuff like that. So I don't really, even right now, I'm shooting a Black Pro Mist because I don't need my face to look super detailed.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Which Pro Mist do you have on? Is it quarter?
yes, I got the quarter. Yes.
Nice. It looks
Yeah.
good. I
Yeah,
can
thank
tell
you.
by the halation on the
Yeah.
left side of your
Yeah,
head
yeah,
with
yeah.
that light hitting
Yeah.
your back. That looks
You got it.
nice.
You got it.
I got the eighth. I'm a turd.
I'm gonna buy the A2 though because the
It's good.
fourth is good, but you sometimes you don't need that much.
It's a little heavy at times.
a little
Yeah.
heavy
The
at
eighth
times.
is nice. I just keep it on all the time. So actually, that kind of goes along with what I want to say about sharpness because here's my next confession in this live stream.
Okay.
I soften all of my footage before I export. So
Yeah.
I use film convert nitrate to color grade because I don't know what I'm doing, and I turn the softness slider up by 5% because the A7S III is so sharp,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the lens you use, obviously. But with this 20 mil 1.8, it's really sharp. So I soften it a little bit, and then I put the eighth Pro Mist on there as well because that also, you have the quarter. It also reduces the sharpness a little bit. Christian says, "You
Right.
do what?"
Right. Right.
I'm sorry. I'm guilty of this. These are my sins. Oh, I came here to not be judged by you people, but to feel loved.
Shout out to my boy Dobo, Judas and Judas of the Fuji world. He called us Judas of the Fuji world because we abandoned them. Hey,
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
Dobo, it's not our fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
We're just the messengers.
exactly.
Yeah.
But one of your guys that said something in the comments, he was like, I just sold my A6600 and my A7 III for the A7C, and it's great. Yeah, and so so Paul, does the A7C? This is the only reason I was considering it because it has to have this. Does the A7C have unlimited recording in 4K 24? Like
It does, I think.
okay, so like yeah, that would be an easy trade off for me. I'm really trying to wait for the A7 IV because if the A7 IV at least has 420 10-bit, that's gonna be my BPM.
That'd be cool.
Or I might just get another A7S III, man. Like to be honest, the A7S III is so good, it's hard not to have two of them. You know what I mean? Like it's just
That's what this whole live stream is about. We're just talking about how cool our cameras are. But I think the only difference between the A7C, I think it has the flip out, fully rotating screen. It's got unlimited record times. I think that's it. I think everything else is the same except for obviously the body style.
and the shutter speed. The shutter speed is not as high on the A7 III, like for pictures. So you can only go up to 1/4000 of a second versus 1/8000 of a second.
Gotcha.
So for photographers, that
Right.
may be a deal breaker.
And the A7C has one card slot. I learned that as well.
Oh, well, see,
But that's never been a deal breaker for me because I don't believe in insurance. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just an idiot and I only have one SD card.
So again, what's funny is, man, like your needs vary depending on what you're doing. Like, so for me, every camera that I have to own, it has to, this is why I want to get rid of the A6600. It has to have dual card slots.
Yeah.
It just has to, like, especially for weddings. Like, I need to have that.
That makes sense. So do you relay record or do you double everything up?
Relay record.
Okay.
So it depends. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like a long shoot for that day, I'll relay record. But if I'm doing a wedding or something like that, me and my partner, we'll do dual recording. And it's because I got a 256, but I have two V90 cars and like the space on them like pretty good.
Damn.
So
That's sweet.
yeah, dude, like So I got a ProGrade 256, and then I got like another 128. But again, like for the type of work that I'm doing, like if your main goal is YouTube or your main job is YouTube, no, you don't really need this. Like
Yeah.
64 gigabyte cards are more than enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if you're doing stuff like in a professional world, dude, there's definitely been times I'm like, yo, I'm kind of running low on space. And again,
Yeah.
what makes this so great about the A7S III, this is why it's so hard to beat. If I'm doing like a long shoot on like a weekend or something like that, I could easily switch over to H.265 and record proxies on my other
Yeah.
card to
Oh,
conserve space.
I forget about that. There's like features about this camera that I haven't touched.
Dude,
I'm using it in its most basic form. I'm basically just disrespecting Sony. Also, huge shout out to my boy 217. We got a big boy donation in the chat, $10.
oh yeah,
And
he love you.
geez, thank you so much, man. Seriously, I appreciate you. I don't do this live streaming thing often if you can't tell.
What?
That means a lot.
217, I'll take a shot in your honor, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. For you, bro. His question is, do you think with any firmware updates that the FX3 might get DCI 4K, shutter angle, etc., that Sony will try to keep parity with the A7S III, or do you think they'll eventually branch off? Man, I hope they do something to differentiate it, because right now it seems like it has less features for
Right.
more money.
Right.
That's what it boils down to in my brain.
They're gonna
I
have
hope
to
they
do
make
that.
it better.
They're gonna have to do that. They're gonna have to really, because again, Zach, if we go back to the GH5, the GH5 has DCI, has, you know what I'm saying, shutter angle.
That's true. Yeah, it has all that.
The GH5 is so good, dude.
I know.
It's so
Dude,
good.
I had somebody ask me recently, like, if I'm still interested in Micro Four Thirds, and I absolutely am. Especially like I have high hopes for the GH6. I hope it still happens. Do you think it will? I
No.
think it will.
No. I'm gonna
Really?
tell you why. Because full frame has caught up.
Yeah.
Think about this. The
That's
GH5
true.
came out when full frame had so many limitations. Like it couldn't do 4K 60. Like GH5 was able to do 4K 60 unlimited.
Yeah. True.
And
Plus good IBIS and every other
You know what I
insane
mean?
feature that camera has.
But now every full frame camera that comes out, they're surpassing that. You know what I mean?
But hear me
So-
out.
Okay.
What if Panny's like, yo, we're gonna make some people freak out, and they drop the GH6 and it has like 4K 240 or something.
So here's
What
the
if?
question.
Just what if?
Okay.
It could happen. I don't know.
It-
Because Micro Four Thirds still sells well from what I've seen.
Okay. Okay.
So
yeah, especially
if
for,
there's
like,
money
dock
there,
shooters and
people
stuff.
will make it. You know, companies will
So-
make it if there's money there.
You know, so to be honest, they're gonna have to do more than 4K 240. And the reason I say that is because 120 is slow enough.
Yeah.
You know, let's be real here. Like, since you have the A7S III, how many times have you used 240 megabits per second?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
24 frames per second?
No, 240 frames per second. How many times have you
literally
used
not one time.
that? Me.
Because
You know what I mean?
now because it's not 4K. That's the only reason though. Because I'm trying to future proof.
Oh,
You know?
Okay. I mean,
I would probably do it if honestly, but I'm like one of those guys that like I just think anything in slow motion looks cool.
mhm.
You know, like I'm not that tasteful with it. I'm like, oh, it's slow and pretty, that kind of thing.
So like for me, 240. If you're filming like I don't know cars racing, horse racing, I guess I don't fucking know what are you doing, but if you're recording that type of shit, like then fine. I mean,
Yeah.
fine. If you record that type of stuff, then fine. But just blame it on the rum. But if you're doing like, for example, weddings, there's nothing I can shoot in 240 frames per second that would look good. Like it should not take you 5 seconds to blink once. You know what I mean? Like there's
The only thing I could think of, I have a buddy, shout out to Justin Pay Productions. If you guys are shooting weddings, go watch Justin Pay Productions. He'll blow your mind. So he does this in every wedding film, but he has one shot of the groom's ring spinning on a surface and he shoots it. He's been shooting with X-T4s and he shoots it in 1080, 120. I could see that being a really cool like 240 shot, but that's
Yeah.
like extremely specific, you know, like not everybody's going to do that.
and to be honest, even if you were to do that in 4K 120, it would still look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the GH6 would have to have for the GH6 to still be a thing. It has to have dual native ISO, right?
Mhm.
It has to have phase detect autofocus.
Yeah. I think it would have to outperform basically any full frame Panasonic camera or
And
the
if-
Sony A7S III for it to compete because I don't know, unless it's like super affordable, because the GH5 was what, $2,000 when it came out, which was really good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So,
I guess it depends on what the price is.
but think about this: the Lumix X5. Well, okay. Shout out to your guy. He just got another donation from
Oh damn, Jordan, thank
Jordan.
you. Teal
Yeah.
donation squad. Oh my gosh, dude, just for that, anybody who donates Teal gets to peek at the Teal bulb of
Oh,
love.
oh my god, I want that bulb so much,
Dude,
I,
they're sick.
I
It's
know, I know.
getting pretty hot actually, but I'm gonna leave this on the back just for Jordan.
um. So
Bulb is for you, brother.
So, hold on one second. You had some interesting guys here with the 240 frames check on the A7S3. The line skips quite a lot. Yeah, like it
Okay.
does. Honestly, like 240 frames. To be honest, I still haven't found a need to really use 240 on, especially on no professional jobs. Like I would not use 240 on any professional job, especially now that I have 4K 120. But to be honest, most of my work revolves 4K 60. Like
Yeah.
that's my bread and butter right there. 4K 60 is all I need.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot of times when I've needed anything over 60, unless it was an extremely specific shot with like water or fire or something really fast
Snow.
moving.
Snow.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly. Here's an interesting comment. Somebody said, Sam said, B-RAW support on the A7S3 would be so dope.
Dude, I am.
Why is this
listen,
not happening?
I am waiting because when I seen that Nikon got it, I was like,
Wait,
okay.
Nikon got it?
The Nikon Z6 and the Z7 II, if I'm not mistaken, has B-RAW support.
Where have I been?
Yeah, yeah. But you obviously have to record it through a Blackmagic recorder. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not through Atomos.
Okay, so they're still getting some money for it. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if the A7S3 was to get B-RAW support, I would honestly. Speaking of which, let's before we go there,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on the Ninja V Atomos?
Oh, okay. Well, I have been creeping on your channel and I saw that you made a video that it's overhyped low key. So, low key, it sucks. No, no. I'm actually one of those people that really likes it. But I will say this: now that I have the A7S3, I was recording like my YouTube talking head stuff with the Ninja and my X-T4 and stuff because it was so much easier to edit. But with the A7S3, oh gosh, here's another confession. I'm sinning more, but I shoot in one of the lowest 10-bit 4K options on the A7S3. It's 420 because I can edit it natively on my computer without making proxies.
Have you tried the All-I? Like, have you tried 4K 22 All-I?
Yes, but on my computer, I have an older iMac and it really struggles with 422 files.
Okay.
So for some reason, my computer with 420 4K, still 10-bit, the footage looks great to me, especially my stuff. It just lives on YouTube anyway. I've been using the Ninja as a monitor, and I've just been recording internally with the S3 a lot more.
Okay. So
now tell me your thoughts. Roast me.
So listen, as a monitor, the Ninja V is amazing, right? But I would argue that somebody could get like an Atomos Shinobi and still have that same
way
thing.
cheaper.
You know what I'm saying? For way cheaper. But in regards to everything else that it offers, like with the whole B-RAW, I mean, not with the ProRes RAW, like that's the only thing that kind of ticks me off about the A7S3 and ProRes RAW. Like, it's you can't even change the white balance. Like, that's pretty significant. You know what I mean? For RAW support.
Yeah.
And it's not universal, right? So I shouldn't have to switch my NLE. I shouldn't have to switch my editing software just to use ProRes RAW. Like I edit in DaVinci Resolve. So
okay, you're a smart man. I've been like tinkering with that idea for years, but I don't know. I could probably do it in a week, you know. But I just I'm so ingrained in Premiere. But DaVinci's so enticing, bro.
Listen to me. Listen to me, Zach.
Speak to me, brother. Speak.
If you're not, so at the very least, I thought you were using Final Cut.
No, I'm a heathen.
DaVinci Resolve is leaps and bounds way more stable than Premiere Pro.
Oh, I believe that.
So I have a Mac Mini M1.
Okay.
And I've been using like their 17.1 DaVinci Resolve, like the one that supports the M1 silicon or whatever.
Right.
But even on my Windows, bro, like I think I had the DaVinci Resolve like when it got stable. I had DaVinci Resolve crash on me one time. out of the entire time that I had it. Premiere Pro
Yeah.
crashed on me at least 5 times per session. Like
Yeah,
I
it got
hate Premiere
bad.
Pro.
Dude, like 2018 was a rough year for Premiere.
Oh my god, dude.
I've been okay with it in 2021, but 2018 hurt my
I'm good.
soul.
I'm
Hey,
good.
here's a quick good question. Because we've been mentioning IBIS a lot, you know,
Mhm.
and somebody just straight up asked, how important is IBIS for video? What do you think?
So it depends. So it depends on what you are doing. If you have a gimbal, it's not important at all, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you somebody who who doesn't have a gimbal, it's very important. Like especially even if you're doing vlogs, like IBIS is it. You really don't realize how much your hand shakes
Yeah,
until you have a
especially with a
camera.
light camera setup. If you shoot with
Yes.
something heavy, like a heavier
Yes.
cinema camera, I like it. Also, it just depends on the style of what you're shooting. So, a lot of the professional work I did before my YouTube channel stuff was aggressive music videos, like a lot of heavy rock and metal
Right.
stuff,
Blowing
and
up vans.
IBIS
Let's not forget that.
exploding vans, you know, those kinds of things. And I would deliberately not use IBIS because I wanted more of that like Breaking Bad, like anxious filled type of shooting. But if you're going for like, if you're shooting something where you're standing still, like documentary style, and you need it to be as stable as possible, but still handheld and have a little bit of motion, IBIS is great for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to what you're shooting. And my girlfriend's in the chat and she says, "Cute gigs." Hey, babe. Nice to see you. She's a Fuji shooter and I love her.
Okay.
Got an XT3 and that 23 1.7.
Shout out to the Fuji shooters out there.
Dude, she was Fuji before I was Fuji.
Yeah,
she
right. I
led
think you
me.
talked about that in your video too, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
She guided me down that beautiful path.
So well, I hate to say it, man, but I think you need to man up and you need to force her to become a Sony simp. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe in feminism. I'm sorry.
you know what I mean? But the XC. So what's funny is I had an XC4 and an XC3 before I had an AC600 and the A7S3. And what's so funny is I hated the XT3 after owning the XT4, dude. The menu system was just horrible.
Yeah. Just the dedicated dial to switch between
Oh my god.
video and stills.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you, Fuji. Also,
Yeah.
can we just say, Fuji, hey, make a cinema camera. It would be so good.
I think
For the love of God.
no,
make
no,
one.
no, Zach, you might be on something with that one, dog.
If they're
you
able
might
to
be on something to
cram
that.
this juice into the XT4, imagine if they get a little bit more real estate, like a Pocket 6K size. Like, we don't all need tiny cameras. I feel like the market's getting smaller and smaller.
True.
Like, I'm okay with having a little bit of chunk, you know?
Yeah, but
So make me a
again,
cinema camera, Fuji.
this kind of goes back to it again, right? Why get a man? I'll be honest with you, dude. If you own an A7S III, I just don't feel like there's another camera that you need.
I know, right? Everything else is just a dream.
It's just there, you know what I mean? It's just like I came from a Canon SL2 to a GH5 to an XT4 to
God bless
like,
you.
you know what I'm saying, an A7S III, right? So let's talk about that real quick, right?
Yeah.
In regards to depth of field and just like low light performance, you know, first of all, shout out to the XT4 for having dual native ISO. A lot of people don't talk about that, but the XT4 is actually very clean.
I saw one video on that. What's the second native ISO?
I think it was 2000.
Yeah. That's crazy. I just found out about that about a month ago. Like a really like low view count video on YouTube. I was like, how does this not have thousands of views? This is crazy.
I actually think on Indie Mogul Dave Mays, I think he's the one.
I know that guy.
Yeah, right, of course.
He's a good guy.
I think he's actually the one who pointed that out to me when I owned the XC4. He was like, he made the video saying that it has dual native ISO. And I'm gonna go look. I was like, oh shit, like you know, it does.
Why did Fuji not tell me this?
You know what I mean? So to be honest, you know, I can even argue that the XT4 is the perfect YouTube camera.
It's pretty dang good. It's the lenses that make it not perfect for me.
It depends on what you're doing. If you have the 16 to 55, to be honest, that's all
true.
you
I never
need.
tried that one. I had so many people tell me to try it and I never did.
Dude, I'm
you know
telling
what?
you
There's
now.
my next confession. Sorry.
If you have the 16 to 55, you might be using Fuji a lot more. Like I would definitely use it over the Sigma 18 and 35.
Can I tell everybody here a giant confession? Lauren, if Lauren's still watching, don't be mad at me, Lauren. So here's what I want to do. I want to sell all the shit that I don't use, which is a
Mhm.
lot of stuff, and buy the new GFX 100S
You know, I'm
to write it off and to have just a way. Just imagine a vlog on a medium format. That would be so stupid.
dude, but to be honest, I would love to see it. You know what I mean? Just to
It'd be
kind of just to see
hilarious.
this big old medium format. Because to be honest, dude,
Right.
like, so I don't know if you ever heard of Belandez. He has a YouTube channel.
Hmm.
He shoots like medium format stuff, dude. And honestly, that the Fuji stuff that like, it looks medium format looks amazing.
Yes, it's unreal, dude. Um, Also, Philip Bloom has a. He's done. Do you watch Philip Bloom
Of
stuff?
course, of course.
I don't think Philip Bloom is watching right now. He's probably asleep right now. But Philip, I love you so much. So he has this series of short film episodes on
Hmm.
these cats on an island of Skiathos that he goes to, and one of them he shot on the Fuji GFX, and dude, it is like it's larger than life. It's like IMAX on YouTube. It's crazy. Dude, it's
Hmm.
anything he does is gorgeous anyway. But like,
True,
I would
true.
love to just. I probably won't get one. I'm seeing a lot of do-its in the chat, but probably won't be the
Hey,
smartest idea. But I will absolutely be renting one from
hey,
Lens Rentals and
look,
messing with it.
look here, dog. Let's keep it a buck here, Zach. You're Zach Mayfield, okay? You work for Kino Secret. You can get a Fuji camera medium format, bro.
I don't know.
Come on now.
I
Come
don't know,
on now.
might have to get everybody in the chat to help me out with that.
You know
Just
what I'm
kidding.
saying?
Don't feel
Come on now.
obligated.
You use the muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's Zach
Uh,
Mayfield from Kino Secret. What you do, man?
about that.
Send it
Oh
out to
man,
you.
dude, this is awesome. Thank you for doing this.
Hey,
This is,
thank
by the way,
you.
everybody, this is like our first time hanging out. We talked a couple times today. He was helping me get everything set up, but like, dude, it's awesome to hang with you. This is
Yeah,
great.
seriously, dude. What's funny is I expected nothing less from watching your YouTube videos. Like, I'm very kind of like selective about who I reach out to,
Hmm.
because this is my second YouTube channel, right? My first YouTube channel has like over 5,000 views, 1.6. I mean, 5,000 subscribers, over like 1.6 million views, and I was like doing pretty well on that channel.
What's that
And
channel? Honestly, I
that's
don't know
Sean
what
B.
it is.
It used to be Sean B. Nice.
Okay.
Uh, and dude, like I was working with Lenovo, with Samsung, like bro, like I was really killing it in the tech world. Like if I was to keep that channel, I definitely had at least probably like 20,000 subs by now.
Yeah.
But I just tech to me had got so boring. Like it got so repetitive. Like it was almost to
Yeah.
the point where I knew anytime I dropped a Samsung video, it was gonna do numbers. And I hated that. Like I hated doing content specifically just to get views. Like I know that sounds
Yeah.
crazy, but it wasn't
No,
as
I know
fulfilling.
that. I know what that feels like.
You know what I mean? So like, but now like I look at stuff a little bit differently. So first of all, let's back up a little bit here.
Hmm.
How is it first of all working for Kinotika, right? And you know, how did that even start, bro? How did that even happen?
Oh man, here we go. It's journey time, everybody.
Okay.
Buckle up. So I moved to Nashville a little over 2 years ago to live in the same city as my wonderful girlfriend Lauren, the Fuji extraordinaire, as you might know her.
Hi, Lauren.
Um, so yeah, we were long distance. We've been long distance for it was like 6 years or something. It's crazy.
You were
Finally moved to Nashville.
long distance for 6 years.
We met when we were 17.
Yeah, let me tell you
Crazy.
something. That she loves you, fam.
Dude, and I love her, but
You know what I mean?
she's amazing. She is so great. She's so talented too. She's an amazing photographer and shoots less than me and is still better than me. So I'm not
Okay.
bitter about it.
She needs a channel. Hey, Lauren,
She,
start a channel.
dude, for real, she would do way better than us. But anyway, so after I made this vlog, like when I had nobody watching at all, I made this vlog called "I'm Moving to Nashville,"
Mhm.
and Dave Mays ended up emailing me, and he was like, "Hey man, I live in Nashville. I'm a YouTuber," and I was like, "What? A YouTuber wants to like talk to me?" I was like, "Who is this guy?" So I googled Dave Mays, and then his Pocket 4K video comes up from the announcement of that
Mhm.
camera. I was like, "Dude, I've already watched this camera. I know this guy. He's famous." That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, yes, I'll hang out with you. So like the week I moved here, I met Dave and Connor. I ended up filming a video with them on the Crane 2S versus the Ronin S, I think.
Mhm.
It was years ago now, but basically me and Dave and Connor have been friends ever since that. And then when Dave got an opportunity to go live in LA and work for Indie Mogul, he was like, would you let me bestow Kinotika upon you? And at first I was like, this isn't going to happen. Like, I'm working full time for a production company. Like, I'm so busy. I'm already trying to do my YouTube channel just like as a side project. Dude, I was exhausted all the time. I didn't rest ever. It was actually really unhealthy, but
Yeah.
ended up working out. I took it and I kind of weaned off the client work, and here we are, man. I'm making one video a week on Kinotika and as many as I can on my channel and surviving.
Dude, the life, bro. Like that's
it's wild. But you asked me how it was, and like, it's amazing. It's also more lonely than shooting production stuff because I don't really work with homies that much, you know? It's a lot of me in here, especially with quarantine.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a double whammy. Like, my first year doing YouTube was like, hey, go to your room.
Yeah.
So we'll see when things clear up. Like, we'll see what goes on. But I'm so thankful. Like, all these people in the chat, like, I can't even read all your comments because I'm distracted. But like, thank you all for watching.
I mean, if you need to catch up, brother Fit, like, go ahead. I got this one comment.
Let's skim.
The active IBIS on A7S3 comes in handy in certain situations, of course. Like, yeah. You can go ahead, Zach. Let's see what some of your guys are saying.
Oh, Connor's in the chat. Don't talk about me. I'm so sorry. I will never talk about you again. Somebody lives in Clarksville. That's close to here. Dude, what's up? Nice to see you. Daryl says, nice for posting. I'm trying to see. Could you see medium format video becoming a thing? The only thing holding it back is price. Fuji's like trying. Like, that was the goal of the new 100S, is to get the price as low as possible. We'll see, because it's definitely geared toward photography, which is actually why I want that camera. But
let's be honest here, okay? Let's be honest here.
Yes, sir.
If YouTubers get their hands on medium format and push it as hard as it does full frame, yes, it can become the next thing. It's that simple.
YouTube in 10 years is just going to be the tip of somebody's nose. You'll see 2 pores. Everything else is out of focus.
Like,
YouTube in 2031.
Dude, if a YouTuber gets their hand on it and make it hot, it can become hot. And it's sad to say, but that's the world. That's the age you live in. Like, if somebody popular has it, who's an influencer, they can get people to do what they want them to do.
Yeah. My boy Peter Barnes is in the chat. He's an amazing Fuji filmmaker and photographer. Guys, actually go look at Peter Barnes on Instagram. Freaking so talented. What's up, Pete? He toured with me and my band a couple of years ago and documented our stuff, and he was awesome. Back when I traveled.
Love you.
People are just telling me to switch and do it and make bad financial decisions. I don't appreciate any of this.
So, let's kind of give them like a little insight in. Since you work for Kinotika, right? Is it easier for you to reach out to companies and get gear?
That's a great question. Okay. Yeah, dude, I'm an open book.
Okay.
I don't really reach out to companies that much. So there's a couple companies like DJI where we just have like an ongoing relationship where they'll send me pre-release stuff, but I didn't really earn that. That was like already established before I came into Kinotika. So that's the hard part, is like, I kind of was gifted a lot of really great things that I'm super thankful for.
Okay.
But honestly, man, most of the stuff that I review is out of pocket. I'll either rent it, or luckily now I'm working with Lens Rentals, and they're based in Nashville, which is like total blessing.
Oh, okay.
So like, I'll hit them up and be like, hey, if I do a creative like sponsored ad in my video for Lens Rentals, will you let me borrow the C70 for a week? So that's like my video coming out Friday. That was the exchange, basically. So I'm trying to find creative ways to review the nicest gear without being broke.
Got you.
That kind of thing. It's tough.
What's funny is, man, people. So just to kind of give the perspective of a smaller channel, if you will.
Yeah.
People kind of think that you gotta have like a certain amount of numbers to get stuff to review. And I'm here to tell you, no, that's false. The thing is, so again, with me so a little background about me. I used to work in corporate America for about 13, 14 years. And I was a performance analyst for an agricultural company, and I also was an assistant manager for Advanced Auto Parts for like years. But But one thing I learned from working like in corporate or whatever, is how to deliver numbers to people, right? So
Yeah.
people think that like, yo, if you got like 5,000 subs, like you are like, you're pretty good. You can like, you can get stuff to get reviewed. But little did they know, I had started like working with like Lenovo like before I even hit 1K subs. It's really just about your approach, right? So if people get they are hit these companies up like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. This is what I do. I would like to review your product. It's like, well, if I was a company, I wouldn't send you shit either. Mainly because
This is, by the way, advice that I need, because like I'm so focused on the creative end that I really struggle with the business end of things, especially
yeah,
with YouTube, because I all I want to do is like make fun videos,
right.
and it's a lot.
And so we're gonna talk about that a little bit too, because I actually want to kind of give my subs like a little gem here. But if you kind of reach out to companies with metrics and analytics and demographics, you have a way higher chance of getting something you want, right? Because there are people out there with 5,000 subs, but their engagement sucks. Versus like somebody like me, my buying power is higher than somebody with 5,000 subs because my demographic is somebody between the ages of 25 and 34. That's the demographic that pays for stuff. But if your demographic is between the ages of like, I don't know, 13 and 18,
Right. They have less money.
you have less money. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So they're
funny.
less
That's
likely
a
to
great
send you
point.
stuff. You know what I mean? So, and even for me right now, I use YouTube as I'm not looking to be quote unquote YouTube famous. YouTube for me is a door to expand Brooks Media. Like
Yeah.
I'm using YouTube as a funnel, as a marketing tool to show people the type of content that I create. So when I'm sponsoring my own videos, like is you like you look at some of my videos, you see Brooks Media sponsor this video, right?
Hmm.
Because I want to funnel you from YouTube to my own platform because I want to grow my business more than YouTube,
Dude,
right?
God bless you.
So
That's beautiful.
you know what I mean? YouTube for me, like that's all it is. YouTube for me, I look at YouTube as a funnel.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's so cool. I love this because we have two different approaches and
We
goals,
do.
but we can work together
You
and
know what I
still
mean?
nerd out about
Exactly.
cameras.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because at the core of it all, I'm a nerd for cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
love cameras. But my channel, I do try to teach my subs about how to run a business, and people kind of tend to think like, yo, if you're a YouTuber, um, like that's dope. You're gonna get people to send you free stuff, da da da. But like, yo, okay, that's dope that you get people to send you free stuff. But is there a way for you to sell that free stuff now and then funnel that money back into your business to grow and make a better, like a higher dollar? Like
Yeah.
I look at YouTube as a way for me to maximize my exposure and my what we call in corporate like your P&L, my profit and loss.
Yeah.
So, for
I need you in my
example,
life more. This is great. Thank you for this lesson that I
like,
didn't learn in college.
so, like, shout out to the Pride University, right?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I just look at ways for you to just grow Brooks Media, right? Because when at a certain point, I'll be able to say like, hey y'all, all of my content now can exclusively be found on Brooks Media, and now I have people funding through there, and there's no different than a Netflix, right? So now I'm charging people only like $3.99 a month to watch my content, but they have a YouTube platform to kind of see what type of content I'm creating. And so now
Oh
when they
yeah.
come over here, they're like, hey, what? Yeah, I spent $3.99 a month. I can support that. And it's no
Hmm.
different than how Netflix did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think people need to start realizing like, yo, like with YouTube needs us, right? They need people
Hmm.
to create for them. You are the brand, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like people should look at that more so as if they're gonna use YouTube, like don't I think people kind of get in for the wrong reason sometimes, right? They'll look at somebody like you, like, man, Zach Mayfield has like over 20,000 subs, like I want to be just like him. But it's like, your wave or your path doesn't have to mimic that person. And especially too, if you're able to monetize what you do better. You know what I mean? Like I look at ways to maximize my dollar through my business. Like that's
Yeah.
literally how I look at YouTube.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, also, Nate, good night, guys. I've got to get up early in the morning, but love the stream. Looking forward to much more. Dude, good night, Nate. I hope you
Thanks,
have
Nate.
wonderful dreams this evening. Glad you enjoyed.
I felt love on that.
We'll be thinking about you. Dude, that's awesome though. That's really good wisdom for me, honestly. I wish I could just freaking like just hire someone to handle all of my business stuff, but I'm not at that level yet. But
I trust me, dude. Like
that's like farther along dreams for me, because like I really want to stay in the YouTube world, at least for the foreseeable future, because I'm just like obsessed with it. I love everything about it. But to have somebody like on the back end handling like the product stuff and like, the
Yeah.
business stuff. So I
Yeah.
can just like create and write. 'Cause I love writing, love filming, editing, all that stuff.
YouTube can honestly, man, to be real, it could be what people fail to realize. YouTube is like it's social media, right? People fail to realize that YouTube is social media, and it can be draining to your psyche a little bit, right? Because you are posting something to instantly get that instant gratification of like a like or a view.
Hmm.
So if I feel like if you're gonna do YouTube, you have to have a strong mind to do it, because if you don't, yo, you will be going crazy, right? Just
It's
imagine, Zach,
taxing.
if you drop the video and like your past few videos, let's say your average video does like, I don't know, 10,000 views like within 30 days. But you notice
Hmm.
in this video only did like less than 1,000. And you notice that like that just kept happening for a while. Like since for the most part your brain is trained to see like, hey, why aren't your numbers going up? Now it's starting to affect your mood. Like, man, what's going on? Should I change my content? When in hindsight, it could just be something going on with the algorithm,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's like YouTube, man. It can be a taxing game when you're mental, and I just choose not to let it tax my mental like that.
So I let it bug me a lot. Like I've released 2 videos in the past month that like underperformed hard, but I
Mm-hmm,
really love both the videos. So like
mm-hmm.
what what advice do you have? Because
Um,
I let that shit bother me, dude. Like it gets in my head and it makes it harder to create the next thing.
so here's the thing: we are in different positions, because that, like, to be real, YouTube is your job.
Right. Yeah.
So it's different, because like now you're looking at it like, man, I'm underperforming at my job, versus just like for me, if I look
Right.
at a video, it's like, yo, I'll just put some money in Google Ads and just boost it. Like again, I have a marketing budget for my channel. Like every week I have a certain amount that I spend to push my channels, because again, my video is being sponsored. So if Brooks Media is sponsoring my video, I want people to figure out, yo, what's Brooks Media, what's going on with Brooks Media. So I'm looking at it as a way I'm investing to push my brand. Versus for someone like you, if a video underperforms, especially if it's like Keynote Seek and stuff like that, there's like a lot more stress on that.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you to do, man, is honestly just don't over. I know it sounds crazy and cliche, but you can't overthink it. Like, to be real,
Yeah.
you have to think about this, Zach. You were able to gain over 20,000 subs pretty fast. And I had found your channel like way before you hit 20,000 subs. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
cool.
I think I had found
That's
your channel like when
crazy.
you was like around 13K or something, bro. And I'm like, yo, this dude, like, this dude is like really good. So you have to think about it, man. Like, you have an additional 10,000 plus people that you are trying to please with your content, and you have to just realize, bro, like, not everybody's gonna rock with your content. It's literally
Right.
that simple.
Yeah.
It's
No,
because you make good time,
that's
you make
great.
good content, man.
Yeah. Somebody said, Zach, have you thought about creating a Discord channel or something? Maybe that would be sweet. Maybe a good way for me to communicate with people better. I
Do
don't
you
know.
have a Patreon?
I do have a Patreon. It's
Okay.
really stripped down now where
Hmm.
because it used to be more in depth when I was when I wasn't working for Kinotika. But now I just have it as one tier to have people's names at the end of my videos.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
just like straight up, it's a lot less work for me because I'm like always here working on videos.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just kind of like a side thing,
I get that.
but it's awesome.
I mean, so another thing that I do too, to kind of just help with the mental thing, the same videos that I post on YouTube, I post on IGTV as well. And sometimes you would notice like videos may perform way better on IGTV than they do on
Hmm.
YouTube. You know what I mean? So like that's something to consider too, because what people feel like, I think sometimes when people look at YouTube, they look at YouTube as like the holy grail and the only platform to post stuff at. And it's like, yo, I look at YouTube as social media. So I'll post that same content to IGTV again, because I'm trying to maximize exposure.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to get the most. It's like, yo, on what, if I can get one person, right? So let's look at this, Zach. If I sponsor a video, right, and I get one person to sign up for that video that I sponsor, that one video has made me $150, right?
Hmm.
Because I provide YouTube consultations on how to read the Google Analytics, the Google Trends, and just how to make your content overall better. Because again, with me coming from a corporate background, I just know how to read numbers. So if sorry, the room sneezing up on
Let it hit,
me.
bro. Let it hit deep. After this, let's catch up with chat too, because I'm so
Okay.
bad at this. I love everybody who's commenting.
We're definitely gonna be catching up with you. You have like four. I got like a total of like 8 people watching right now. So I've been bouncing back and forth.
I don't even know how to see how many people are watching. That's how good I am at YouTube. What is it? The concurrent viewers or which one is it?
So like I'm just on like on your YouTube channel and it just says like right there you're like 41 watching, like just on your actual channel.
Wow.
Yeah, they love
Hello,
you.
everyone. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's
they
crazy.
Love you over here, dude.
I didn't know that was the number. I had like some of my stuff hidden.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Hello,
they love you.
The 41 strong.
Oh, but what were we just talking about now, bro? I just fucking
I think we were talking about how Halo Infinite is coming out in November, hopefully,
Dude,
and I'm
no
probably gonna stream it on
Halo.
Twitch. Everybody follow me when it comes out.
Like, nobody cares about Halo.
Dude,
You're not
don't
playing
say
Last
that.
of
It's
Us.
pretty true, but don't say it. Jesus,
Like,
please.
Halo
We
is
need all
so,
the love we can get.
Like it's so like I remember I was playing Halo in college, dude, and I think I was like 19 at the time with one shots.
I've been playing it
one
since I was
shot with
9.
a scene, dude. But hey, hey.
Dude, I'm sorry. It's the only thing I care about more than myself.
Oh wow.
That was dark. I'm sorry.
That was really dark. We just take a shot at that, Zach, because we just took a dark.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just about out, but bless. To Chief and Cortana. Okay. Michael Omadi, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. Juan Carlos says, where do you guys get inspiration from? Ooh,
very good question. Very good question. So I watch movies all the time to study them.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite channels, like off the top of my head, that I can name would be YC Imogen. He inspires me because he's somebody who looks at YouTube as a business too. Like this man makes a good amount of money off of YouTube. Brandon Lee. I don't know if you ever watched his channel. I love Brandon Lee's content.
He's awesome.
He's amazing.
He's so talented and fit. I'm jealous.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Because he can just run miles with a gimbal.
Yeah, he's got like 13 gimbals, like 2 mounted to his shoulders, 2 in like the crevice of his ankle.
Right, you know what I mean? Getting these crazy shots. And Armando Ferreira. Like those are the 3 channels. Oh, and Brittany Janae. So those are 4 channels that I watch that inspire me. But to be honest, I'm inspired off my environment and honestly movies. Like, Roger Deakins is one of my favorite cinematographers. Ryan Coogler, John Singleton. Like when I watch these people and their vision, I'm inspired by that because let's be real, man. If you watch some like these Amazon movies or Hulu movies or whatever, like their stuff is not that much better than the content that we're creating on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's really not.
The gap is slowly closing in quality.
Yes.
And views though too. Like, like the top creators on YouTube are like pulling way more views than
way more views. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Brooks in Chicago. What's up? Illinois in the house. 217. What's good, baby? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, wait. I have a Chicago question very fast. Don't you guys have like a famous place that has like burgers and shakes or something? It's very colorful. Like a cake shake or something. So I've had it before.
Dude, to be honest, Chicago. So first of all, Chicago's just like the best city in the world. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to everybody else. But it's because we have so many food choices. But there is, dude, the only thing I could think of that's like colorful with burgers. No, I can't. Like, dude, we have like a lot of burger spots. Like, if
maybe it's a hot dog
Chicago,
shop. I don't know what I'm talking about.
The only place that would be hot dogs is like Portillo's, right? Portillo's.
That's it. That's the one. I remember having a crazy thick shake from there though.
You had a chocolate
I don't know what
shake,
was in it, but it was
more than likely.
It was really good.
Yeah. Dude, if you come to Chicago, like I can tell you right now, you would gain weight if you come to Chicago and we hang out.
That's the goal.
You're going to gain weight. We're going to Portillo's. We'll go to Kuma's Corner. Kuma's Corner has the best burgers in Chicago.
After quarantine, I will come hang for real. I would love that.
Come, because there's a lot of food here, dude. Like I promise you, your taste bud palate would be.
Yeah, just enlighten me.
Crazy.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Somebody said get an Italian beef and get it dipped. David Longnecker, what's up, bro?
An Italian beef dip with hot peppers and mozzarella cheese, bro.
Another person said Sony Simps unite. Welcome to the club.
Hey, listen, Patrick and SpongeBob tongues here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know me too well.
Hey, listen. What's funny is I was no bullshit. I was so high when I made that comment to you. I was high. I was so, and I was like, "What would be good to get Zach's attention on this?" Oh, I got
anything SpongeBob. You nailed it, dude. That's exactly where my mental state.
I
is
got it.
at most times.
My boy Jason said, "What up, Zach?" You know what
What's
I'm
up,
saying?
dude?
He's a very good supporter of my channel, man. Like this dude, anytime I drop a video, he'll make sure he shouts me as like YouTube channel of the week, content creator of the week. Like he's just a really good guy.
Dude,
So
that's
shout out to
awesome.
Jason.
Love you,
Hey David,
Jason.
are you from Chicago? Like you named for what's going on, David?
Yeah, that was quick. That was
Anybody in
quick.
here on Zach's side? Anybody from Chicago or Illinois? Just period. You know what I'm saying? Versus
Everybody talk shit
217.
about Chicago right now.
Like, I want to know
I've
if I got
only
any
had
guys
good
up in here.
experiences there, but let's just destroy it.
773-312 in the house 847. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? What we got? Come out from 217 to hang out. 217. I'm totally down for that. Make sure you sub to the
That'd be
channel, brother.
sick.
But yeah, so I'm totally down, Zach. When you come here, bro, like I promise you're gonna be. You're going to leave fat, bro. You're gonna leave fat. Like it's just a fact, bro.
Let's do it.
Deep dish is not pizza, it's casserole. And this, sir, you're lucky you're not on my channel because I would have blocked you for that ignorance. Okay.
That's my friend Christian. That's the guy I play Halo with. So us Halo players are not the brightest.
But in all fairness, though, you'll be surprised that deep dish is not Chicago's like most favorite pizza. And
What is it?
it's like regular squares. Like we like squares, and to be honest, I low key would choose New York pizza slices
Okay.
over Chicago's. Like I'm a food connoisseur, bro. Like I'm not somebody who just biased. Like New York's deep dish, and we went to the one that's Spider-Man. You know what I mean? The one Tobey Maguire responsible or whatever. Like we went there.
Time.
You know what I mean? And it was like, dude, you can't beat a New York slice. Like it's
But bro,
it's so good.
have you heard about frozen dino nuggets?
That sounds like a dirty video. I'm not gonna lie to you. No, I've never
They're
heard.
cheap ass nuggets from most grocery stores, dude. Dino
Are you talking
nuggets are
the
fire.
Tyson nuggets, bro? Like
Dude, they're
like,
below Tyson, dude. Dino nugs, bro. You gotta try them. You air fry those bad boys, you're good to go.
Oh my God, he said air fry. Listen, Zach, I'm about to be 31 this year, bro. Some things I can't put in my mouth. You know what I mean? It's an adult, like, and just
True.
and eat it. And so yeah. By the way, if my screen goes black for like a few seconds, just I'll have to.
Oh, is
switch
your camera
batteries.
gonna die or something?
It's at 18%, and I have it plugged up through USB-C, but I have it through the Mavic Air 2 charging brick. I guess it's just not strong enough. So
Okay.
yeah,
Rip,
but I have
dude, rip.
I have like 4 batteries on standby, dude. So like I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good. So
We were talking about like what inspires us, right?
yeah. So what inspires you?
Amy Poehler and Parks and Recreation. That's it.
You know, I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
What's up?
Parks and Recreation.
Dude, you already know the answer. It's Parks and Recreation.
Oh my God, dude.
Okay,
That's-
actually, here's my real answer.
Okay.
I genuinely love them both,
Mhm.
but Parks and Rec makes me feel better inside because I'll explain.
Okay.
It's got this like, I think more so than The Office, it has this aspect of friendship that like The Office, I feel like most people are dogging on each other most of the time, which is amazing and hilarious. Love it. Parks and Rec has some of that, like with making fun of Jerry and stuff, but it also has this like overarching feeling of friendship and togetherness that makes me feel very good inside. And I love that they created this fictitious world that's like so stupid, like obesity and raccoons are like overtaking the city, like stuff that my brain enjoys where it's like it wouldn't happen in real life. The Office feels like it's down the street, it's so like
Yeah. Okay. I hear
it's
you.
grounded.
I hear you.
That's why I like it more. But The Office, like, undeniably is incredible, and most people choose it over Parks and Rec. But they're
Yeah, of
both
course.
great, and we're lucky to have them both.
No, we're not. We're not, Zach. We're not looking to have them both because Park and Recreation is not, to me, and they're not holding a candle to The Office. But to answer this question from
Rip.
Jason, he said White Sox or
Rip.
Cubs. Don't disrespect me, sir. White Sox all day. All day. 100%.
I love sports balls for sure.
Sports. But yeah, dude, like honestly, I don't think Parker and Recreation can come close to Jim's faces when the camera zooms in on him, dude. Like that's so. Here's what's funny. I actually did my partner and I, we did a love story, and they wanted us to be office themed, and like we had somebody playing like Jim, we had somebody playing Pam or whatever, and dude, like there's never a time have I anybody ever asked me like, hey, can we do something based off Park and Recreations? Like, no one, no
Damn
one,
it.
because it's just
It's because The Office got more attention. It's dumb.
I mean, dude, but it's
No,
so
dude, The Office
funny,
is undeniably great for sure.
you
Yeah,
know?
Parks and Rec probably caters to a more like specific comedy audience. Like
Mhm.
it's got a lot more ridiculous vibes to it.
Okay, so
I like it a lot.
here's another question for you, Zach. Like, what's your top 5 favorite movies?
Oh God. Oh
As a
no.
filmmaker, right? I gotta
Oh
hit you with it.
no. Confession. I don't watch that many movies.
You are a piece of shit, sir. Wow.
I'm a
As a
bad person.
filmmaker,
Deep down,
wow.
I'm just bad. The movie that made me question my existence the most was Interstellar. That and
Fantastic choice.
but I mean like Christopher Nolan, like that's kind of a cop out
Yes,
because like everything he touches is just
true.
gorgeous, you know?
Inception is my number one. So true.
Inception's crazy.
Yeah.
I love Interstellar. A movie that came out recently is called Moxie, directed by Amy Poehler.
I have to finish watching it, but it's actually pretty good.
I actually really like it a lot. But
Pretty
dude,
good.
I'm a sap. Like I can cry at like things easily. That movie made me cry multiple times.
I encourage you to watch the latest video I did. I did an engagement shoot. I
will
know for a
probably
fact you would cry. I know for a fact you would cry. I cried almost like editing. So
Dude, yeah, crying's
know.
beautiful.
Okay, so again, top 5. I need it, Zach. Come on, top 5.
Transformers 4, Transformers 3, Transformers 2.
Cop out.
That's about it.
Cop out. Cop out. All right.
Damn it, dude. Frick. Pixar's Soul was really good.
Was really good. It made like as an
God.
adult, I feel like I had a different appreciation for it, right? Because there's so many
Yeah.
times that I've hit that this is what I wanted to do with my life thing, and it's like,
That's not
Now
even the
what?
point. Yeah.
you know,
The point's just being alive.
yeah,
It's crazy.
right, man,
Beautiful.
yeah. Pixar actually be hitting like even with Inside Out, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Loved that movie. That movie was beautiful.
Yeah.
That movie's just like I love oh dude, I'm an idiot. Okay.
yes,
The original Spider-Man trilogy. I don't care what anyone says. This isn't an Office versus Parks and Rec battle. Original Spider-Man trilogy is the best.
You know what's funny? I know I'm gonna get chewed out for this, bro, but it's only because I'm biased because I'm a huge Andrew Garfield fan. I loved the first and second Andrew, like the first, like the Spider-Man that he was in compared to Tobey Maguire's.
I didn't hate them. And visually they're beautiful for sure. Like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the suit,
Dude,
Instabone. It's beautiful.
you know?
It's so good. But the original trilogy was like, I don't know. Those movies like impacted me a lot as a kid, and I still love them. I know they have some cringy moments for sure, but damn it, dude, I love them so much.
Okay. So for me, it's definitely gonna be Inception. Boys to the Hood for sure, right? I mean, yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Menace to Society. Man, give me. To be honest, I don't know if you've ever seen Fruitvale Station, but Fruitvale Station was really,
No, I haven't seen
really
it.
good. And then number 5, if I had to pick, man, honestly, I love anything with Denzel, so it's a toss up between American Gangster and Training Day.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Denzel's my dad's favorite actor. He loves Man on Fire.
dude.
We both like
Man on
Equalizer
Fire?
even. I like Equalizer, dude.
Ooh,
Isn't there an Equalizer 2?
yes, it is. It is.
I haven't seen that one
Yeah.
yet.
Oh my God,
I love Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel. Like anything.
John
he
Q,
touches
did
is
you
pretty
watch that
dope.
one?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I like that one too.
Oh, also I love so anything Denzel is in or Leonardo DiCaprio, like they are mine. Like they don't make bad movies to me. Like Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio is like he's untouched. You know what I mean? Like nobody can. He's there.
Dude, Wolf of Wall Street when they're pounding their chest, that's
Dog.
the Sony Simps, dude. Just exuding power over all other manufacturers.
He's there, bro. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, he can. Oh my God, dude, this man can act, bro. This
yeah,
man can act.
he's wild.
He's so good, and ironically, he's in my number 1 favorite movie, which is Inception. So
Yeah, that movie is so good.
it really is, dude. Like I forgot how old I was when I watched it, but just to have my mind blown like that, Django 217. Come on, B. You know, listen. So and, there's a scene that Leonardo DiCaprio did with Carrie, right? When he like, have you seen Django yet?
Yeah.
All right, so you remember the scene that he like wipes the blood on her face or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
That was off script, bro. Like that wasn't part of the script. Like
Whoa.
that was all improv.
I love hearing about that
You
stuff.
know what I mean? So I'm like,
That's so sick.
are you like, bro? I love Leonardo DiCaprio. He's really good at what he does. He's really good at what he does. Honestly,
Bro, if we're talking about inspiration, I gotta mention the YouTubers that have inspired me
okay,
to pursue YouTube, because that's like, to me, it's even bigger than the movies that have inspired me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the reason I got into YouTube, which is like pretty much everyone's story, is Casey Neistat. Like,
right.
because I was looking up camera gear and stumbled upon his videos somehow, and I was like, people can film their lives. This is crazy.
And
so that
I
was
wanna
like
watch it.
yeah, exactly, and make it really entertaining. That was the original reason I got into YouTube. But some of my favorite channels ever, H3 Productions. Have you ever seen them? So funny.
Yeah, aren't they like the podcast or something like that?
Yeah, they have the H3 podcast now, but when they were super active on H3 Productions, dude, those videos are wild. It's like it's dude, it's so funny. It's crazy. I think it's way better than the podcast. But
Okay.
that channel, Nakey Jakey is a huge inspiration to me.
Okay.
He's a Midwest boy that just talks about video games in front of a green screen. So funny.
Okay.
Gus Johnson, Eddie Burback, and then Unis Honest. I don't know if you've ever heard of this channel.
I've heard of that channel's name before. I don't remember what their content they create, but
okay. So the channel no longer exists. It was for 1 year. They uploaded one video every single day for a year. And the whole theme of the channel was like, time is limited, life is short, do everything you want to do right now, basically.
Didn't you mention it in one of your videos?
Dude,
Okay.
it was the best.
Yeah.
And they just had to roll with all the challenges. Like they just had to upload every single day. It was so crazy. But that channel has probably impacted me more than any other, because it might sound dark, but it has this like very heavy emphasis on death, but not in a dark way necessarily. It's more like basically just like appreciate the time you have,
Okay.
and do what you want to do with your life, because you never know when it's over, basically.
Yeah, I'm with that.
So yeah, that channel was amazing. No longer exists. Also, Jordan said he donated to me so I can watch that movie. I gotta figure out which one he was talking about. Thank you, Jordan.
So what's funny is like I know people are gonna probably like laugh at this, but do you have a quote that you live by? So the quote that I live by, I was like, I'm gonna get tattooed on me. It's from a video game, and then to be specific, the video game that it's from is from Assassin's Creed, which is nothing is true, but everything is permitted. Like nothing is true, everything is permitted. Like that right there. Like when I first heard that, the first Assassin's Creed, I think I was like, I don't know, dude, like maybe like 14, something like that.
Yeah.
But that has stuck with me because I feel like in life that has never been truer.
Yeah.
Honestly.
What do you remember what Assassin's Creed game that was from?
The first one. The very
sweet.
first Assassin's Creed with not Ezio. What's my other man's name, bro? He was before Ezio. I can't remember. Desmond.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a huge Assassin's Creed, like first generation. Like honestly, after the Ezio trilogy, bro, like I was pretty much done with Assassin's Creed after that. Like they started
that's
really
kind of when I stopped too.
You know what I mean? Really far fetched with some of that shit. I'm like, okay, now I don't even know what you're doing at this point. So yeah, you can keep it. You can keep it.
Austin says, I freaking love Nakey Jakey. So good, dude. Yeah. It like honestly maybe the best YouTuber of all time. Crazy. And Jordan says the movie I gotta watch is Hunt for the Wilder People. I don't know how to pronounce things, but dude, I will actually watch it. Thank you for donating. That's really awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Crazy.
If you don't love it, I will give you another $5.
I'm sure I will enjoy it. I'm pretty
people
easy
bribing
to
you to watch the content. Right? That's hilarious. All right, so we I know we were talking about cameras for like a long time. We like kind of like completely hopped off of it, right? What is your opinion? Now we kind of talked about it like a little bit. So when you went to the X-T4, right? What was it that made you say, you know what, the A7S III? What made you stick with the A7S III after the X-T4? Like, did you buy the A7S III, or did you rent it before you left the X-T4? Did you know like I'm just tired of the X-T4 shit, I'm leaving anyway?
I saw the A7S III get announced, and I was like, yes, please. So I actually did a deal with Lens Rentals, that company I talked about. They let me take it on a trip to Colorado.
Okay.
And basically, like, it was just such a good experience. Like because I borrowed the 20mm 1.8 as well, and I noticed that it just made documenting my trip with my friends very easy. I took the time to set up the camera before I went on the trip, and then it felt like it was just like working with me as
Yeah.
opposed to working
Yeah.
against me,
Yeah.
which is very key if you're documenting things or filming like really quick.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can go back
Dude,
to the
no, you
X-T4
can. The
for
A-
YouTube.
Yeah. Like again, the A7S III was like legit my dream camera. It checked all the boxes.
It really is for me too.
If you want, you can kind of go back to your comments a little bit. I'm about to switch batteries. I'm at 7%, so I'm about to just
Swap
switch
them
over real
batteries,
quick.
brother, and
Alright.
good luck. Don't break the mainframe, brother.
Oh my God! Right? Oh Jesus Christ! I hope not. Here we go.
Let's see. What are these beautiful boys in the chat even saying? That's what I want to. But why did Iron Man have to die? Things I think about every time I wake up.
All right. Let's see.
Also, I remember you talking to Dave on Golden Hour about doing green screen like Nikki Jakey, and you should totally incorporate it more. It works for you. Brother Austin, you are going to love Friday's video on Kinotika. It is entirely green screen. The entire thing. Yeah, I'm trying to incorporate more green screen now that I have a better one. You probably can't see it, but there's this roll behind me where I have a black screen and a green screen. And now I can stand up full body and film my entire body in front of a green screen. It makes me very
all
happy.
right, we get to see all that sexy Zach now. All right, that's
Just
what we've been,
all the thickness, the thighs, the knees, the calves.
that's what we've been looking for. I'm gonna be honest with you. We've been
whatever
waiting
you
for you to
need.
get that full view look going here. You know what I'm saying? So, how many?
Damn
Zach,
it.
now I'm feeling pretty good, dude. How many shots are you in, bro? I feel like I've been drinking under a table, and I was totally expecting for you to.
You know, you might not be happy
demolish
about
me.
this. I've been drinking out of a Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation glass this entire time. Let me
You,
let me
sir,
let me
are a
read you a
piece of shit.
quote. Let me read you this quote
You,
before you
sir.
start judging. Okay.
I'm judging already, but okay.
It says, never half-ass two things, whole ass one thing.
Yeah, here's the thing, though.
Did that make you laugh,
It's a good
Sean?
quote. It's a good quote, though. It's
I
a
think
good
it
quote.
inspired you fully.
Oh, but does it beat Jim's?
Damn it. Here we go.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It does not beat Jim's look, bro.
But what if I told you I had it on this? Would that
Listen,
change any opinion?
fine, but not really though. Like it's,
Okay,
it's just
damn
because
it.
you're like a guest, and I feel like I have to give you an out. You know what I mean?
You know, no, I actually want to be treated like a normal person. I want to be
Okay.
slammed when I deserve a slam. Okay?
All right. So here's the thing, dude. Freaking my PlayStation is being put to sleep. I have.
Xbox wouldn't do that.
Wow, you're disrespectful.
I'm just kidding.
That was not needed. It wasn't needed.
See, dude, stream's over.
So, I have a question. Now, me personally, I definitely have a bias towards a certain lens manufacturer, right? And I have no problem admitting that. I have a certain bias to Sigma lenses. Do you have a bias towards lenses or camera body?
There is no other word that I've said more on YouTube other than Sigma.
Okay.
I have said Sigma 18 to 35 an ungodly amount of times on
Okay.
YouTube because
Okay.
I love what they do because they make, dude, their lenses are so good for like half the price of Canon.
Yes. Yes.
basically, usually.
Yes. Yes. Same thing with
Um,
G Master, right? Same thing with G Master.
The thing I like about G Master, I don't even have a G Master, but the Sony lenses, the autofocus performance is like ungodly good. It's so fast.
Have you used it with any Sigma lenses yet?
Oh, I haven't. Do I need to try it?
Okay, so
Uh-oh.
quick little subtle flex here. The Sigma 2470, worth every single penny, but it is heavy.
Yeah.
But the autofocus works phenomenally well. And then
That's good to know.
Yes. And then the Sigma 14 to 24, which ironically is about the same weight as the 24 to 70, autofocus works extremely well, and it's an internal zoom. So,
Is that? Oh, nice.
you know,
That's what I do like about Sigma is most of their zooms are internal. I don't like when the lens protrudes out. I think it looks so goofy.
yeah. Like me too, right? So that's the only thing I would say about this here, and that's probably why I made it so front heavy on my Sigma 24 to 70. Like if you now, I will say this: I like the fact that it has a locking switch on it, so you can lock it at 24. So if you don't
Yeah.
want to move at all, you can stay locked at 24. But when you zoom out, Oh shit. Hey,
Oh my,
listen, my
oh my
heart,
god.
my heart dropped with it. Um, it's the apple juice.
It's got to be the juice.
It's the apple
Oh,
juice.
I am so glad you caught that. That
Oh
was
my god. Oh
hilarious.
my god.
Wow.
But
Clip it and
yeah.
ship it.
Right. Okay, let's go ahead and sit that down there.
Here's my iMac, everyone. Whoa!
Right. Let's
I just chuck your computer.
let's just not leave that alone. Let's just put it down.
Wow.
Now, one company that I do want to shout out and who will forever have my brand loyalty, honestly, bro, and it's because of how well they work with creators. Is Daddy. Like Daddy, bro, they really rock with creators.
Yes, they do.
I mean, dude, I've gotten like, some pretty high quality mics from them. They're helping me sponsor a giveaway that I'm doing. Because at first I was gonna do a giveaway for when I hit 500 subs, but now like my channel has been growing so fast, I'm gonna actually have to do a giveaway for 1K subs.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you. But but dude, they're gonna handle like the giveaway and everything for me. It's like, yeah, just send them our way and we take care of them from there. And
That's
like,
sick.
Daddy's just like a really cool company.
And they make good quality stuff
they
that's
make
affordable.
great
It's
quality
similar to
stuff, dude.
Sigma's thing, you know?
Yes.
Okay, actually, I have a similar experience with Deity. I was complaining about the windscreen on my Deity D4 Duo,
Mhm.
and they just sent me like a different version. And I just got it in the mail like a couple days ago. I have to test it out. It's sitting on my A7S III right now, but they
Okay.
just sent it to me. They're super cool. They're like, yeah, what's your address? It's like,
Dude,
who does that? That's so cool.
What's funny is they reached out to me like randomly. Hey, Sean, you want to check out the D4 Duo? Yeah.
Do you like that mic?
I do. The reason I like it is because I have a Data D3 Pro, right? The reason I like the Data D4 Duo is because I don't have to worry about turning that mic on. And like, it's just
It's exactly why I use it. And it sounds good.
And it sounds
Like,
amazing.
it legit sounds good. I like it better than the Rode mics as far as the sound.
Yeah.
The Rhodes are super bassy. You can
Yes.
EQ that out
Yeah.
and push the mids up a little more if you want it to sound a little more like Deity, but I just like how this sounds like straight out of the box, baby.
Here's a good question for you. Here's a good question. What's one thing that the camera world of YouTube rather like has told you, right? But through your own personal experience, you found out it's like a complete bullshit. Like
Oh
just
no.
you know what I mean? Like it's not
Mm,
true at all.
okay. The camera world has told me that's bullshit. I mean, I think one thing that I kind of fight back on sometimes is like the need for a cinema camera.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I really like cinema cameras.
Okay.
So I'm honestly, I'm kind of just like fishing for something right now because I can't think off the top of my head. But
No, like honestly, the cinema camera argument is very, very, very valid.
Yeah.
Because I would argue like what's the main difference between the FX6 and the A7S III besides the electronic variable ND, which is just like a game changer.
Or the audio inputs.
See, here, and my argument to that is, if you have a Zoom H4n recorder, I would use that versus recording that straight to my body, the camera. Like I would,
Yeah.
like for me, when I do professional jobs, I like to have like 2 to 3 sources of audio. So I got the scratch audio coming from my A7S III with the either with the Rode Wireless Go with the mic attached to it. Then I would have it's actually 3 sources. So I have the Rode Wireless Go with the mic attached to it going straight into the camera. Then I have my Tascam, which records just in case if it's too hot, it records like 10 decibels lower. And then I
Yeah.
have the actual, I either use the Deity S-Mic 2S or the Rode NTG5 plugged into the Zoom recorder. So like this way, I know for sure, no matter what, I have pristine, clean, crisp audio every
Yeah.
single time.
That's good. That's smart too. Yeah.
So
Just like it kind of always goes back to what work you do, what stuff you film.
It does.
Some
it
people you
does.
really do need a cinema camera on
Yes.
set.
Yes.
Like the
For
work
time
demands.
code. For time code.
But like if you're extending your finances in a negative way to get that because it looks cooler,
Mhm.
or like you can get a mirrorless camera that will make really good looking
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
way cheaper. You'll be better off.
That's
That's the
pretty
only thing I
funny
can
off
think
the
of.
mark.
What about you?
For me, the argument between 8-bit and 10-bit. Now,
Ooh.
here's the thing. I'm not saying that
Wow.
10-bit is not better than 8-bit. I'm not saying that. But Hollywood it's really about how you learn how to color grade, because you can make 8-bit footage work just as well. I mean, there are movies that were shot on iPhones, or even like The Possession of Hannah Grace that was shot in 8-bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Proud Mary is another movie that was shot on A7S2, shot in 8-bit. So, the whole, you gotta have 10-bit now. Like, to me, that's like a YouTuber's push. And I'm not saying, again, that 10-bit is not important or it's not super flexible. But what I am saying is that if you have 8-bit, it's not like you just dead in the water. You just have to
Yeah.
learn how to work and massage your colors better. That's it.
hmm
You know?
Dude, it's crazy working with like Red cameras that shoots, I think 16-bit. Like that's funny. Like probably a lot of stuff in Hollywood is like way higher than 10-bit even. But yeah, like you said, you can make 8-bit work for sure.
So I will say this. In Hollywood, dude, you will be surprised actually, like what they're filming on. Like even for most professional jobs, like people assume that in every professional job, after you get to like a certain point, that everybody just shoots raw. But one will argue that raw is just a super high massive storage thing that you really don't need, because
Yeah.
if you record in ProRes 444, you're still getting that same flexibility without the huge data sizes. So that's another thing that I feel YouTubers have made super popular, but it's not real. Like raw is not as the bee's knees as people make it out to be. Raw is actually very storage intensive, and in most cases not needed. Like if you're shooting it raw, you're obviously saying like I want to heavy manipulate my colors. But even with that 10-bit, you have more than enough flexibility to push whatever colors you want. Me learning DaVinci Resolve and like their color management, bro, like learning how to color grade in DaVinci Resolve has showed me so much.
Oh, I'm sure.
Way more than Premiere Pro.
I might jump on that at some point. I'm just so hesitant because I have such a system now.
I get it, but I will say
Yeah.
this. Once you jump on DaVinci Resolve, you're not going back to Premiere Pro.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
You
It,
won't.
it's like, and I know that it's like once I make that leap, I'm done with Premiere.
Yeah.
Which honestly would be nice because it sucks paying monthly for Premiere.
And dude, here's what sucks though. Here's what sucks.
What sucks, brother? Tell me.
I still pay for Premiere, even though I have like the little discount for like $30 a month or whatever. Because I can't get away from After Effects. Like Storyblocks, Function Array, dude, it's just After Effects. It's so easy for me to use that in comparison to like DaVinci Resolve templates. Like it's
Yeah.
Motion Array and Storyblocks are like almost made for After Effects, I feel like.
Yo, Daryl from my chat says 10-bit 2K is all I need for a feature. And the ProRes 422 out of the pocket 4K was gorgeous to grade and finish. DaVinci all the way.
Yeah, like, dude, like to be honest, most movies aren't even like even to this day, most movies aren't shot in 4K. They're shot in 2.7K.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why do we get but for some reason on YouTube we get really obsessed with resolution.
Dude, it's a numbers game, bro. To be honest, you know what I mean? Like this whole because what's crazy is even now people are making an argument like, yo, 8K is needed in the Sony A1 and all that, right? But it's like, yo, your phone is still streaming stuff in 1080p in most situations, right? The Galaxy phones are, you have 2K, but depending on what company you're using, they're probably limiting you at 720p anyway. So the whole argument sometimes it's a mute point because it doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't, man. Like I watched some crappy movies, bro, that was shot on like, whatever, like a potato.
Right.
But it was entertaining.
Right. Yeah. But hear me out. This comment says from C-Hob says, I can play Minecraft on my Canon 200D. Sony A7S III can't.
Yeah, I would just buy a video game, but I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like, if that's important for you to be on a job and to pull out and bust out your Minecraft.
I don't know how you pulled that off with that 200D, but dude, I'm incredibly impressed. And I will give you a Lamborghini for that.
Troll. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, like to me, I feel like for the most part, man, YouTubers they brainwashed people who are just like hopping into the film world to make them believe they need certain things. Like, even when you said about the cinema cameras, if you have to ask if I need a cinema camera, you don't need a cinema camera. Honestly.
Bruh, I had the Blackmagic Ursa G2 4.6K for a while.
How was that?
Dude, that camera rules. It's so good, but it's so huge. It was
what sensor is that on? Was it a Micro Four Thirds?
No, it's a Super 35.
Okay.
And it did 4.6K B raw up to 120.
Oh wow.
and it was, dude, maybe my favorite images that I've ever shot came from that camera, just like color wise
Mm-hmm.
and how it felt. And I love that everything was built into that camera. Like the monitor's good. It has all
Mm-hmm.
the assist features you
Mm-hmm.
need.
Mm-hmm.
It was really heavy, but it made the handheld work I did, which is what I primarily did, look awesome.
Okay.
That's really
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
Love that camera. I miss it.
Keystone Tech, what's going on, bro? It's the MKBHD effect, and that's funny. So I will say that the in regards to like depth of field, right? Is there anything? Matter of fact, here's a better question. Like I know we as GH5 owners at the time we really didn't care about that, right? But now
Yeah.
that you're on a full frame camera, do you actually see the difference like that people were talking about
Oh,
full frame versus?
there's a definite difference, and it's
Yeah.
mostly just a meme for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like honestly, the GH5 with the Sigma 18 to 35,
That's
like
perfect.
at 1.2 with the speed booster,
Yeah. Yes.
like
Yes.
genuinely, I still
Yes.
believe that was all I ever needed for depth of field. Like sometimes it's just funny to shoot at 1.8 and put your face like this close to the camera just to say that you have full frame when you like it's ridiculous.
So I will say that for me, since I've gotten full frame, and this is kind of why I want to sell my 35mm f1.8. Now, even though it looks, I'm not gonna lie, it looks f1.8 looks good right now. You know
Yeah,
what
it
I mean?
looks sweet.
It's like-
It's
but
definitely cool.
it's cool. But f2.8 for professional jobs is all that I've seen the need for. Like honestly,
Mhm.
because even with the compression, like even if I'm shooting like at a 70mm, f2.8, it's a sweet spot, man. Like full frame
Yeah.
f2.8 is what the Sigma 16mm f1.4 is on GH5. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
f2.8. So for me, I don't really from what I've noticed for video work, 'cause I'm not so much a photographer. I tell people this all the time. Like, I'm not a photographer. I'm just a filmmaker that knows composition, right? Because people,
Yeah.
like in my line of work, bro, people are always trying to like hire me to like do photos, but I'm like, yo, I'm not a photographer. And there's a huge difference. Like people think if you
Yeah.
shoot videos, like you automatically do photos. Like no,
Photography is way harder for me.
photography is way hard for me.
And that's actually why I've held on to my XT4, to be totally honest, because
To
of
be
the
honest, you don't have
photography
to. Yes,
capabilities.
yeah,
It's
the
so moody
color,
and it looks
dude.
beautiful.
The colors that
Yeah.
I got out of the XT4, even compared to my Sony, I still prefer Fuji's colors
Hmm.
over the XT4s. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, over the A7S III as far as photography is concerned. Like the XT4's colors are really, really good.
So
Really
good. The Sony's image is just like crazy clean. So you can kind of do what you want with it and get a very
Mhm,
nice looking
mhm,
image. But the
mhm.
Fuji just has a vibe to it. I know that sounds so corny, but like Fuji's vibes, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
It's got some sort of like emotion to it with their film simulations and stuff and
Yeah, yeah.
just how the colors are processed.
Hey,
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I really like it. It's really great.
listen, the Fuji juice is real for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Fuji juice, that was a real thing for me. I was sipping that hard. Fuji juice, I was sipping that hard. The XC4, oh my god. Even to this day, sometimes just because of the lightweight factor, but not so much because the 16 to 55 is damn near just as heavy as my 24 to 70, to be honest. But I do miss the lightweight body of using like a smaller camera sometimes. Like
Yeah.
the A7S III with a small rig cage with the Sigma 24 to 70, bro, with the filter on it. It, yeah, yeah. Let's just say you gotta do a lot of arm workouts for that.
Yeah.
So here's the question: would you say that you need a drone to be a successful filmmaker in 2021? Shots
Oh
to you, by the
man.
way. This is my 5th shot, and I'm still alive.
Dude, I'm running on E at the moment. I need to do a little refill. Um, I think drones are interesting because I've heard a lot of people say that they're overused, but I just
Okay.
really like I just think they're fun. But I just have like I think I have just a basic sense of filmmaking. Like I just like getting cool shots. Like whether somebody else has already gotten it or whatever, it's
Yeah.
just fun.
Yeah.
I have 2 drones right now. I have the Mavic Air 2 and the DJI FPV.
Okay.
And I'm actually in a state of trying to decide which one to keep because the FPV is kind of a new thing and you can get shots that you've never been able to get with a Mavic. But I like the Mavic's camera a little better.
How's the
don't
battery
need-
life on the FPV?
It's 20 minutes unless you're like full bore, like speeding. I have 2 batteries for it.
That's
And
tough.
yeah, it's a totally different vibe too. Like But I think if you're doing like YouTube and vlogs and stuff, the FPV is really fun. But if you need something cinematic, like more serious, I mean, honestly, the Mavic 2 Pro is the way to go for that. That camera is beautiful. With the
It is.
Hasselblad camera, I love that
It
camera.
is. My boy has that one. I have the Mavic Air 2, and I've used FPV mode, if you will, in that, and it's still pretty. Like it's still pretty cool. Like to be honest, I'm probably gonna end up keeping the Mavic Air 2 for quite a while. Like I don't really
It's
see.
good. It's very
You know,
solid.
it's really good. You know what I mean? Like
Controller is good too. I love the
it
controller.
is. I'm actually considering the smart controller, um, only because I have a Android phone, and they no longer support the native app like in the Play Store. So I've been looking at the smart controllers to upgrade to that. But overall, the Mavic Air 2 is it's just like a really good drone. By the way, I am a little tipsy if the speech starts to slur. Just
You're a beautiful man. That's all that matters. Our boy Austin Park says when we were talking about photo versus video, he was saying that's so cool to hear because videography is so hard for me as a photographer. There really is a difference.
It
And
is.
the vibes are the reason he's a Fuji juicer. That makes me
yeah,
happy.
yeah. The what's crazy
Huge
is
difference.
people really think that if you do video, you do photo. If you do photos, you do video. And it's like, no, because as a photographer, you are looking for something completely different than what I'm looking for as a video shooter.
Hmm.
You know what
There
I
are
mean?
people who can definitely like be masters of both, but I feel like usually one person leans toward either one. And I definitely lean towards
Yeah.
video.
Yeah,
And for
same
me,
here.
it all comes down to the editing aspect. Like I'm just so much more comfortable editing and color grading than I am messing with a photo in Lightroom or Photoshop. I'm trying to get better at that, but that's like Lightroom's a whole new world for me. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
fun, but
yeah.
it's like I don't know where
So
to start.
what's funny is, so hold on, let me highlight two of my people real quick. What is the future Fuji filmmaking where it will be in 2 years? What is the future filmmaking where it will be at in 10 years?
10
Film.
years for
Yeah,
filmmaking?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Um, man,
VR.
yeah, dude. I think in 10 years VR like that's going to be the next wave. To be honest. What's good, Shatan? What's good, bro? Every time I
Dude, I'm all
downtown.
about the VR. I'm excited to see what happens with it because I know it's like right now it's a little bit underdeveloped because of
Yeah,
like the resolution of the
yeah,
goggles and stuff, but
yeah.
I'm all about anything that's going to push different types of media forward. I don't think it's going to replace movies or YouTube or whatever. I think it's just going to add a different dimension.
So listen, how can I say this with being very discreet?
You just end the stream.
VR.
Everyone's like, hello.
Listen. VR has its place in the if you are an adult, depending on what
Are
website you go to.
you
you
talking
know,
about prawn? Was that discreet?
yeah, I'm talking about like if you are going to a Pornhub festival, right?
This live stream just dramatically changed gears. I know what you're saying. I wasn't thinking of
if you are going to buy
that.
porn at the hub station, VR. I bought some porn at the hub station before, and VR was actually like pretty good. You know, like it was pretty amazing. It was different. So VR definitely has a place. I just don't think we're there yet. Like if you look at Samsung, right, they were really trying to push the whole VR thing. I mean, hell, I watched a whole Coldplay concert on VR, and it was actually pretty cool.
That kind of stuff is what I was mostly thinking of is like interactive events. And I think that would have been really cool during quarantine also just like more VR concerts and stuff,
Yeah.
but not everybody has VR goggles in their house, you know.
Right.
It's just
Right.
it's not fully accessible yet.
So speaking of which, let's debate the argument then, Zach, if you will. Uh,
Hmm.
for the win. Somebody just came right out and said it. What's your take on 8K on in today's standard, if you will?
If you're shooting stuff that requires VFX,
Yeah.
yes, resolution's great for VFX.
Hmm.
Or if you are shooting interviews where you need to zoom in on their pimples,
Right.
totally. I would not have a need for it in what I do. And like we've even had some people in my chat, you know, saying like they've shot feature films and 2.7K or whatever, and that's all they need.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a pretty like specific use, or if you just want to flex, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe there's some avenues of filmmaking that I'm not seeing. Christian says he prefers 12K large bit, so there's that too.
All right, Christian.
Christian's the man you wanted to banish earlier.
I'm gonna say that I feel like 8K is like one. I'll be honest. I feel like people sometimes buy stuff just to flex, like to say what they have. Because if you actually like think about it, like, dude, to be honest, there's so many times I've bought stuff because a YouTuber said, quote unquote, I needed it to be taken serious, and it's just like, okay, I don't use this at all, so like, was it really needed? You know what I mean? Like, I think the problem is that people, they take what YouTubers say and they think like, yo, if I want my quality to look as good as this YouTuber that I like, I need to buy what they tell me to buy, and they don't take an account to like what they're actually filming. You know what I mean? So like for me getting an 8K camera be completely pointless because I focus on social media ads and corporate client work, and they just need, to be honest, good clear 1080p in most situations.
Yeah, right.
If you want to shoot 4K, fine. But honestly, if you shoot in 4K and downscale to 1080p, most of your clients won't tell the difference. Like, I've yet to have a client come out like, "Hey, you didn't shoot this in 8K. What's wrong with you, buddy?" You know what I mean? Like, nobody's
Actually,
doing that.
Jordan's just dropping so many hot comments in my chat, but basically, he has a really good point. He said shooting weddings in 8K would change so many things. You could use one camera for so many shots.
Let's debate that, because people present that argument. And to be real, the whole crop thing, yeah, that sounds good, but a crop could never replace a second camera, right?
Yeah.
So you can say like, yeah, I could just crop in 8K, but if you have a second camera, they can't replace that.
But are you coming from a cinematographer, filmmaker standpoint, or the client viewing their video? Because would they even notice is my question.
Ooh.
Think about that, because who is the end product
good
for?
Question. So, okay, think about this, Zach, right? As a client, okay?
Okay.
All right. So if you were doing a video, and let's just say you was on an interview, right? Would you rather have an interview take place at one angle and then it's crop in at 8K, or would you rather have two 4K cameras on both your clients for two different angles?
I would take two 4K 100%, just because focal lengths will look different than post cropping, and you get the safety of like, what if one camera somehow corrupts a file,
Right.
But I mean, you could also argue, what if you just had two 8K cameras and you get four angles?
Do you really get four angles though? Like,
it's not four angles, but four options, I guess. You do those sweet zooms. But think about it. I'm thinking from a YouTube mind, dude. I do so many post zooms in my videos where it's like, if I shot in 8K, everything could still be in 4K and look really stupid.
But I want to see a lot of your skin problems. Okay, you know what I mean? Like,
I moisturize.
You know what I mean? You cropping into 4K is way better than you, to me, because it softens up the skin. And then on top of that, bro, to be real, there's not a single person out there right now who owns an 8K TV. So
damn, that's true.
4K is not. Think about this, Zach. 4K is not even the standard yet.
Yeah, it's still working its way into everybody's houses.
Broadcast is not even a 4K yet. Like, it's not a standard yet. So for me, 8K, so right now, the only 8K camera out to me that's like reliable at an affordable price point is a Sony A1. But the Sony A1 is down to the price of two Sony A7S3. Am I really going to sacrifice an A1 for two Sony A7S3? I'm going to choose two Sony A7S3s over one A1 easily. Because even if I crop in at 4K, 1080 is still the standard.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you just export in 1080, I don't know why, but I've gotten away from 1080 as fast as I could. But I'm kind of one of those guys. Like, I'm just kind of a resolution junkie, I guess. I like 4K mostly because in the future, if people watch my videos when I'm dead, I want them to look decent.
True. I mean, again, like right now, I hear what you're saying, right? And that's a valid argument. But to be real, are people really bro. Like people don't be watching for. I really don't feel like people be watching for that shit. Like to be honest,
Yeah.
Zach, if when I click on your videos in most situations, I'm watching it on my phone. It's automatically in 720p.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. It's hard to stream 1080 on phones in a lot of places.
You know what I mean? So I'm not deliberately going to change my settings just to watch in 1080p. Like
Right.
you have to think about it. The people's attention span is not that high in today's
Yeah.
like standards of society.
Hmm.
So you know, are people really sitting there going to maximize their resolution on their phone, or do they want to watch the content quick and fast?
Right. Right. That's
So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments. 4K is future proofing. 4K over 8K is never just about the export resolution. Interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think this whole conversation comes down to like, is the thing you're watching even enjoyable to watch? You know, like you said,
dude,
you've seen movies shot on a potato, but it was a fun movie. That's the most important thing.
there's so many
It's
times.
cliche. It's the content or
There you
story
go.
is king
There you
thing,
go. There you go,
which
man.
is true. It's very hard to do to make something
Yeah.
very entertaining, but it's true.
Dude, there's this guy, um, for, Zach. There's this guy who makes Amazon movies, man. And his name, the name of the movie is called like either Bad Ben or something like that, dude. It's this fat, this fat guy, fat old
Where's
bald guy, and he makes like he just uses like the cameras like in the corner, almost like GoPros, bro. The
Okay.
movies are so bad, but they're so interesting. But the thing
Okay.
is, I'm not looking to be like, hey, was it shot in 4K? Think about it. When is the last time you watched anything, a movie or anything, and you've asked like, was it shot in 4K?
Right. Yeah. If I'm captivated enough, I'm not really worried about that.
Nobody does that. Nobody's sitting here turning on the channel and be like, yo, if this is not a 4K or 8K, I'm not watching it. You're not doing
I
that.
can say that I've genuinely been curious about what things are shot on because I'm a gearhead. So like if I watch a movie or a show that I really like, I'll go to IMDb and they have a tech specs area that you can look at what cameras and lenses they shot on. But it's never really to be like, oh, does this live up to what I can watch? Like, is this 4K or 8K?
Right.
I'm
Right.
more so interested in like what format they shot it in, what camera or what like vintage lenses, like anamorphics or something.
Right.
It's more for the nerdy stuff,
Right.
but I do agree it's not like if it's not in 4K, I won't watch it.
Right. So my boy said I watch all YouTube at 360p to help save the planet. That's hilarious. So like
Oh God.
for
Somebody
me,
in my chat said, Mr. Camera Junkie said Zach's VHS footage is hilarious.
dude,
Yeah, except my sister broke my freaking handy cam, dude.
dude.
Let me grab it quick.
So think about this, y'all. For those who are still there, real quick, right? You're not sitting here turning off movies that's not in 4K. You're just not doing it.
Sony Simps, this might hurt. Look at this. Look at this.
So wait, is that the new one? Like I remember you said you had destroyed one in the water. Is that the one that got messed up in the water that you had fixed?
This is the water one. I have another one, but it's a way older model. So it's not taking tapes very well.
Okay.
This one works so well because you could put a shotgun mic on it. The quality, whatever. I like how it looks. It was just fun.
So Zach, this is a prime example of that, right? When I watch your footage, one, I'm never changing the resolution, right? Well, even when you throw in your handy cam thing, I'm never sitting here like, oh man, this is not a 4K. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? I'm watching it because the content that you're creating is just good. And I think the problem is right now, the society. You're welcome. Society is sitting here thinking like, I need to have this. They're focusing on the wrong thing, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. To an extent, depending on what you're doing, gear doesn't matter. It's really about the content, right?
Yeah.
To be honest. Again, I say that loosely because it depends on what you're doing. If you're a professional, your gear does matter. Like, you can actually lose jobs if your gear doesn't meet up to the expectation what your client is expecting. But if you're a creator, if you're just a content creator, for sure, gear doesn't matter. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So...
yeah, it's crazy, man, but it does make sense. Yeah, people are agreeing, saying content over quality. Tucker says content over quality every time.
Every time. Like, I'm never watching your content to be like, hey, what was this filmed in? I'm watching it because
That's
like,
cool
I
to
know
know.
it's going to be funny.
I appreciate that, man.
You know what I
We
mean?
doing my best out here in these YouTube streets, brother.
Hey, not listen, bro.
Trying.
Hey, like, let's just be real
Ugh.
right here, bro. Like, you and people like, I don't know if you ever heard of Camera Conspiracy,
Bro, yes.
dude.
I want to make a video with him so bad when quarantine's over.
Dude,
So bad.
he had this video, dude. I could not stop dying
I
laughing.
love his channel.
He was walking in the park and he had said something about black squirrels. And the moment he said that,
He talks about squirrels and pigeons all the time. I love that shit. It's meaningless, but it's great.
he says this, a black woman walks past and he looks at the
No.
camera so stuck. Dude. I was like, yo, this is gold. Bro, listen. Camera conspiracies, like, I never watch, like, here's the thing. I know Camera Conspiracy doesn't know nothing about cameras, like, for the most part, right? It's just entertaining. But I'm never watching this content to be like, what is this filmed in? You know what I mean? So,
Dude, that man is bold. He walks around his
hilarious,
neighborhood
bro.
and his city
Yes.
like no shame. That takes guts.
dude, to be honest, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I still get anxiety about vlogging sometimes. Like,
Me too.
you know what I mean?
Me too. Every
It's-
time.
It's so weird, right? Because, like,
That's why I
what's
go out into
funny is-
nature.
right?
So I go hide in the woods.
I live in Chicago, bro. Like, there's streets. I'm in the city, like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is the backwards thing about this is, like, you don't want people to see you being like this weird person. But anytime I've done this, people instantly ask me like, "Hey, what are you filming? Can I subscribe to your channel? Are you a vlogger? I love vlogs." Like,
Right. Yeah. It's usually a positive response, but
yeah,
I mean, like we were talking about analytics like way in the beginning of the stream, but like it's so easy for us to judge ourselves and get in our own
Yes.
heads
yes,
about creating
Mhm.
stuff.
hmm
Yeah, generally when I have my camera out in public, like most people that talk to me are like, "Hey, what do you do? Like, are you a
Mhm.
photographer? What are you
Mhm.
doing?" It's like most people are just interested, and they see your camera and they're like, "That looks expensive." Like
Yeah,
a lot
and-
of people say that. It's very
and-
interesting, even if you
see-
have a cheaper camera.
right. And for me in Chicago, that's an anxiety for me because
Jordan
if
said
somebody,
I'm really loud. Sorry.
You said what?
Jordan said I'm really loud.
You're not loud. I
Okay.
think. But Jordan,
Jordan, you're
I mean,
Jordan, turn your volume down, bro.
yeah, man. Because you said
Love you,
something
dude.
disrespectful about pizzas or something. I think you said something. So
No, that
I'm
was
on shit
Christian.
list. Oh,
Christian's
okay.
the most
Sorry,
disrespectful
Jordan.
person in this chat.
Hi, Jordan. It's Christian.
He
now.
deserves to be banned, but I will leave him. I have been yelling. That's probably why.
No, but I don't think he's been pretty cool. So the thing is, like in Chicago, I don't want people to know that I'm filming on expensive cameras, bro. Like, that's just,
Oh, that's a good point. Being in a huge city.
yeah, man, because you don't
Just put
want
Canon
that type
on
of
the front,
attention
dude.
on you. Yeah, right. I see people do this a lot. Like, they'll put tape on the front of their cameras, but the problem is, bro, even like if I'm vlogging with a Sigma lens, it just looks high quality. Like, I literally had clients who'll be just mesmerized about my Sigma lens. Like, man, dude, like, that look like it costs like a lot of money. Like, well, yeah.
And it does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta be careful, like not leaving stuff sitting in your back seat or whatever when you park your car.
dude. So
kind of thing.
even
Gotta
though
be
I have
careful.
insurance on my gear, I'm very aware. Like, I had watched this one video, bro. I'm not gonna call the YouTuber out. I'm not gonna do that. But it's just like, bro,
Yeah.
like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, he got all his gear stolen because he wasn't like around his bag. Like, he said he was like 30 feet away from his bag. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
why would you know what I mean? It's
Gotta keep that laced up.
why would you not keep your bag in front of you? Like even on professional jobs, my bag has to stay around me 24/7. And
Yeah.
if it's not, I actually have a lock that I put on my zippers so people can't go in my bag. And
That's
I have
smart.
Apache cases as well that I put locks on too.
Yeah. Dude, that's smart.
Yeah. I'm
When I
very
was-
hyper aware of that.
When I was touring, when I used to be in a band, and when I was touring one time, we had a photographer with us, and this was like over the top on the other end of the spectrum, but he would chain his Pelican case to the inside of our van. Like,
Dude,
it was so funny, but
Zach-
you gotta keep your stuff safe.
think about this, Zach. Let's really put this in perspective here. Could you imagine if someone was to steal your fucking book bag, bro, with your gimbal,
Bro.
your like that's over like $6,000 just
Oh,
gone,
man. Yeah, it's true.
gone. So, but yeah, bro, like Listen, so for me personally, I hate to be that guy, but I'm usually I don't stream like typically like longer than 2 hours. I can wrap up, bro, but I'm definitely down to do this again with you.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
great. I have to pee super bad, so
this
this
all
is a
worked out.
perfect time to wrap this video
um,
up.
so
Gosh, this has been so fun, man. Is there any
dude,
last minute, like really quick things chat wants
yeah,
to
like you all
ask?
want to bring
Like,
up. But I want to say this, Zach, dude. Honestly, bro, I appreciate your content so much. I respect what you do, man. I'm a huge fan of your channel, and it did show a lot. Just I appreciate you for taking the time out your day to just come and just talk some shit with me, bro. Like
of
it's
course, man.
what I mean. I think people sometimes like look at things so number wise, and it's just like you literally just looked at it from perspective, like, yo, bro, I don't have a good conversation, and like I feel like we accomplished that 100% here today.
Yeah. No, dude, I really appreciate you asking me to do this because like I don't have like an email full of requests or anything. Like
Mhm.
so when you hit me up, I was like, oh, I need that. I need a little bit of chill time
Dude,
with a good dude, just
this is
talking
fun,
about
man.
stuff, nerding out with chat. Like, thank you guys for watching. This has been so fun, both on my channel and Sean's. Like
Yeah.
everybody's been great. So except for Christian. Christian, you're gonna be immediately banned from this channel
Like you
for the
deserve
rest of
it.
your life.
You
So
you deserve that because
sorry,
you know
bro.
what I mean. You said some
It
real
was
good
that
stuff
deep
about the
dish
people.
comment,
But
dude, that
that's
really
what it
just
was for me, bro.
triggered
Like
me. So
But yeah, at least the people from my end, man, make sure you all sub to Zach's channel. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Like he makes really, really good content.
thank
If
you,
you kind of
man.
just want to take
Jeez.
a break from just watching something that's so spec heavy, you just want to like laugh and just watch something good. I watch his channel for that. Like it's really that good. So dude, keep up what you're doing. And just stay true to who you are, man. Like I
Yeah.
really do enjoy your content.
Thank you, man. I'm a small town boy with big dreams. And dude, thank you for your business advice too. Like I would actually love to talk to you like periodically after this about business
Yes.
stuff because that's what I need help with. So
Oh, you dude, this
let's
corporate
do it.
America is like
Let's
that's
be
I come
friends in
from that.
real life.
That's, yeah, of course, bro. Of course. So to all those, I say farewell and good night, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Make sure you hit the like, sub, and all that good stuff. And I
Love
catch
you,
you on the
everybody.
next one.
Thank you so much. I'll have a video out in a couple days. Love you very much.
All
We're
right.
ending the stream now. See you, John.
See you, man. And